more like a beach cruiser?
Well, before they had beach cruisers, it was just a cruiser.
Yep.
You know, big balloon tires, heavy chromoly.
Pullback handlebars?
No, they were out here like this.
Okay.
All right, you guys are live. Let me start.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, we're on YouTube now. We can't cuss.
So
Hey,
far,
welcome, buddy. My name is Charles Carter, and we're going to have a Stunt Hangar video chat. We're going to be talking about aeromodeling, building, competing, flying model airplanes. Could be control line stunt like I do, or it could be slope like Bill does and other people. We're going to be talking about what floats your boat as far as model aviation. There's an opportunity to help with the expenses for Sparky encounters doing these events live, like at the Nats and Triple Tree and other venues. He actually does filming of that event right there on real time, and that stuff's not cheap. So if you would donate to a super chat or possibly join the Stunt Hangar membership, like I have personally, that'd be much appreciated. So, anyways, we have a room packed full. You just can't see everybody that's here, but it's packed. I mean, we got a huge crowd in here, and we're going to be talking about model aviation starting now. All right, so what's going on? We finally, oh, you know what? The video went away again, but we'll just keep going. I don't know what's going on with YouTube.
you don't have a video, Charles.
Let me fix me here. Don't know what happened to me.
You get your camera turned muted, so to speak.
Ah, there you are.
Hey.
There he is. Now he's back.
All righty.
Crack a smile, Charlie.
Charles, man.
I know I did something out of you when I called you Charlie.
Hey, Charles,
I don't know what's going on, you guys, with YouTube. It says this video is unavailable.
We must have said something bad and they cut us off.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I guess we'll just have a video unpublished, undocumented meeting.
Did you get a chance to fire up that 46 yet?
No, but it's I will get a chance. I found a plane that it'll bolt right onto.
Okay, what do you put it in?
I have a primary force.
It's kind of a small plane for a 46.
For 46, yeah.
I know, but you know what? I was just trying to find, because I had a Fox 40 on there.
It's going to balance at the front of the fuel tank.
Well, it actually it's balancing pretty close to where it was before. I mean, it's about
46 on it?
Yeah, the before it had a Fox 40.
Oh, that explains it.
They must be pretty close in weight, because the CG, I'm not kidding, it probably moved like a 64th of an inch or 32nd.
Charles, the difference is going to be the amount of fuel. That 46 take a lot more fuel than the Fox and that. So you'll probably get a half a flight per tank.
Yeah, okay. my Fox 40 will run 5 minutes almost on 4 ounces. It does like 3 minutes and like 45 or 50 seconds. It's almost 4 minutes.
Huh.
And
yeah, I'm going to take apart the Fox 40 and rebuild it. I mean, I think it has a bad bearing in it.
I ran across a set of bearings that I thought were for the Fox 40, and I was going to call you and send them to you, but they're not.
Okay. Yeah, I'm most of my attention and energy is devoted toward this new plane I'm working on.
Strega?
Yeah, I call it Precious Balsa.
How's that thing coming along?
It's coming along pretty good, actually. Yeah, I got a few pictures I can show you.
I got the tips almost squared away on the junkyard dog, which means after I thread the figure eight thread spar across the trailing edge,
Right.
then I'll be ready to sanding seal and sand, and then cover it, and then I'll probably start color. And that's why I was waiting for Mike to do that. He was going to do a Delta Dart group build. He was going to send a Delta Dart to everybody.
Right.
And I turned down the Delta Dart because I was going to set up my plane and do some painting on the same show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be nice if you could do a show and tell of painting. That'd be awesome.
Well, I can do. Yeah. What I'll do is I'll get my base coats down, and when I do the show and tell part of it, I'll do like the shading, the highlighting. And if there's enough time, I'll probably peel it and I'll do the second base coat, and then I have to do my candy blue early in the morning, and then my clear coat. But the junkyard dog's going to end up kind of chipmunkish with the red, white, and blue paint job.
Right.
But the blue is going to be over silver with shading and highlighting on it. And then I'm going to work in that ghost flame job for John.
Oh, that'd be great.
Because John wanted to see. What did you ask me? You asked me about a ghost flame job.
Yeah, I'm thinking about trying to put one on my Vanguard.
What color are you using?
Blues to white.
And you're painting all dope, right?
No. I use
You're
a
not
lot of.
rattle panning it.
No, I use a lot of painter's touch. It's Rust-Oleum. It's a water-based.
Damn good paint.
Yeah, it's a water-based paint, and it's really quite a good price on it. It goes right over clear dope and your standard filler coats, things like that, and take dope over the top of it.
Well, that painter's touch is probably better than the paint that Ford and Chevy used in the 80s.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Painter's touch is great paint.
Well,
if you're using a water base, as long as you spray it with as long as you don't use the, what do they call that? Damn it. I had it in my head a second ago. A regular spray gun where it has the air coming in from both sides.
Yeah.
If you use an external mix, if you use an internal mix like an airbrush with a single needle, you can spray that water base like just like you're spraying butter on bread. It's just easy.
Well, you've seen my Pathfinder LE. That yellow on there.
And green one.
Yeah, the yellow is that Rust-Oleum painter's touch, and it's excellent coverage.
And you sprayed clear dope over it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never had good luck spraying clear dope over anything but dope or lacquer. What's up, Charles?
Hey.
Hey, Train.
Hello, gentlemen. I was at the Georgia contest here. We have a contest next 2 days, and I was not expecting to see so many people this Friday afternoon.
Oh, really? Great.
Crowded,
seriously, huh? Yeah. What would you think, like, on the Friday afternoon to show up, especially when the weather is kind of,
maybe
iffy.
12?
Iffy, right?
Maybe
Right.
12 people?
We had more than that.
That's good.
Wow. That's fantastic.
That's
How many
great.
kids?
Well, let's have at least 2.
That's good. That's a start. Got to get the kids involved, man.
Yeah. Mike brought a plane for someone else, and they got the motor with them. So they slapped the motor on a plane. I think they did on the field, and they already flew it one time. So it was
Cool.
cool.
Is that flight streak?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a new neighbor move in, and they got two young boys. They're probably 7 and 8, I would assume, maybe 8 and 9.
Nice.
And I was in the backyard, and I fired up my Can-B 35, no muffler, bolted it to a stand and fired it up, just for something to do. Just because I'm so damn bored around here.
What? You're fogging for mosquitoes.
Yeah. Yeah. So the guy brings his two. The kids were like running back and forth outside. What's that noise? What's that noise? What's that noise? And Dad came out and said, "Let's go find out." And he came over, and I have a gate. It's a steel gate that I built, but it's steel frame with perforated metal, and you can see right through it. So the guy comes walking up the driveway, and I'm playing with the motor, and finally I pinched it and shut it off. And I hear this guy at the gate going, "Hey man, how you doing? My name's Tom." I said, "Well, come on in, man. What's up?" And he's got these two kids with him. He went to Brodak and got 3 kids and 3 motors. We got
He got 3 kids or 3 kids.
What's that?
He said he got 3 kids or 3 kids.
He bought 3 kids for what his wife calls the 3 kids. Him and his 2 sons.
Yeah. That would make 3.
And they bought a Flight Streak, a Wizard, and I can't remember what the other one is. It's the Dewey Bird. That's what the kids liked. And he bought 2 of the 049s, and he bought a Brodak 25. And then, okay, well, get those together, get your stuff. And when he bought glue, and he bought wheels, and he bought pretty much everything he needs except tanks and paint. And I went, well, I got paint. We'll put some color on them. So I might get a couple more people into it, at least here in LA.
Cool.
Very cool.
You know, on those Product 25s, you want to enlarge the venturi a little bit.
Is that the tip?
Yeah, they're
for a Flight Streak?
restricted.
Even for a Flight Streak?
If you go on Stunt Hangar, there's a couple of posts on the Product 25.
Okay.
Basically, you open it up, and if you want, I mean, you got to be careful how you set the needle valve assembly in there, or get one of Randy Smith's.
That's a balancer. That's a balancer spray bar. You got to have both holes disappeared.
Yep.
Yeah, same way I set up my box with the Brodak needle valve in it.
Exactly.
And as long as you can't see the holes from looking down in the venturi, you're okay.
Well, that's it. You understand it, but they give a dimension how far to ream that out. You know, the venturi. So they're kind of anemic until you do that.
Even for a beginner with a Flight Streak.
Well,
I thought the Flight Streak was going to be a little too sensitive for a beginner anyway.
Well, you can always make it a little nose heavy, but yeah, you could try that. If it doesn't have enough power, I mean, you always got the needle valve. You can always richen it up.
Yeah.
This
What
is
it
true.
is
You can
that
always
to get
flat.
the fly, you're gonna lean it out and get bad runs.
Well, you can
Better
always
to open
you
up
can always
the
you can always flat pitch it too.
Yeah.
You can run a 5.3 or not a 5.3 on that thing. What are you running?
A 9.3.
8 or a 9, 9.3 maybe.
Yeah.
3, 9.4 maybe.
Yeah. So but the thing is without it, a lot of people say that it's not a good running engine. Well, it is. It's just it's necked down too much in the venturi.
Yeah, the only Brodak engine I have is the Brodak 15.
Yeah.
I run it on a Junior Nobler.
I have one of those.
It's a great flying airplane.
Yeah, the other thing is if you get a LA 25, put a LA 15 needle valve in it, and it runs a whole lot better.
Smaller needle valve.
Yep.
Yeah. You're just opening up the choke area.
LA 20. What if you ran a 15 needle valve? Well, no, the 15, the 25, and the 40 all use the same needle valve from Brodak.
Yeah. What you want to do maybe is get a hold of Randy Smith. Talk to him about it.
Where is Randy Smith?
He's in Georgia.
Oh, okay, he's over there. That's east of the 605.
Yeah. A couple miles. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, a little east of at 605. That's darn sure.
That's going to be tough for me to get to. I
Well,
grew
you
up.
can have
I
trains
grew up
over.
here. I grew up here in Southern California. I grew up surfing and flying airplanes, and the only reason I ever went to the valley was to fly airplanes.
Thing is that Train will probably see Randy tomorrow.
Train will definitely see Randy tomorrow. He lives in Georgia.
Yep.
All right.
How far is the contest from your house, Tran?
Well, 35 minutes.
Oh, okay.
That's not bad.
Did you stop in there tonight and fly at all or not?
I did stop over there tonight, this evening, and when I got over there, I was surprised to see how many people there were there. Quite a few.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Quite a few. I mean, we have 3 circles. All 3 were used, and in the pits we had. I think I'm conservative as I say 10 planes at least.
Okay.
Wow.
That's pretty good. That's a good turnout for a Friday afternoon.
Just practice. I mean, yeah.
A lot of guys can't get out of work until it's too late to get there.
Yeah. Well, actually, that's what I did. I got off work and I just straight over there.
Okay.
Did you get a
And you're
flight
like,
When I
in
got
or-
over there, I said, I'm probably going to be alone. Nobody's going to be there. I
Yeah,
said,
you're probably,
and
you're
when
probably
I go over
lucky
there, I was
like
like,
me, though.
what?
You're
Did you get
probably
any
lucky
flights
like
in?
me.
Yeah, I got a couple flights in.
The last place I worked before I retired was their shop was a half a mile from Sepulveda Basin.
That's a nice place to fly.
So I used to put my airplane in the car, go to work, bend metal all day long. As long as I didn't get my hands too tore up from working with metal, I'd hit the flying field for an hour, take a stooge and a plane and a flight box, and I'd be out there for an hour. My wife would go, "Where you been?" Working overtime.
I never took.
Yeah.
I
In
never took.
1996, I was in on Edwards Air Force Base, and once in a while, I would end up in a Spolfida base and flying site.
Did you ever
And
fly with the Edwards crew?
no,
There's 4 pilots years ago. I don't know if they're even there about that. And what year was that?
96.
96. No, okay, I'm talking about 1988. There was 4 pilots that flew out of Edwards with the Air Force that were control liners.
Mhm.
And I met them at Sepulveda Basin.
Ah,
And
okay.
they said, "Hey, man, why don't you come up to Edwards? We'll put you up for the night. Fly the Edwards Air Force contest." I said,
Mhm.
"I've never even heard of that."
Mhm.
Nobody has. It's just us.
Mhm.
So in, I think it was 88 or 89, I went up there and stayed the weekend at Edwards.
Uh-huh.
They have the best food I've ever had. Their
Okay.
cooks are amazing.
Mhm.
So I had a weekend at Edwards, all free camping, free food, and I flew. All it cost me was the fuel for the airplane and the gas to drive up there and back.
Yep. It was at Edwards when I built my first control line plane, and in the United States.
What'd you
And
do at Edwards?
I was in environmental engineering.
Okay.
Yeah, I was an airman there. So after that, also at Edwards, I was at Edwards when I built my first slight upgrade from that profile plane, but he was an Intrepid SV12
Oh,
with
nice.
a 46 VF on it and tune pipe and the whole 9 yards. Man, that
Nice.
changed or something. So
Nice.
and then I went to I think it was in '96 at Whittier Marrows. They had a contest over there.
Gopher Gulch.
Yep. And you should see me flying there, beginner's pattern with a SV12.
I think I remember that. I think I was there.
You were there in '96?
Yeah, I was flying the contest for the Knights.
Do
Yeah.
you remember seeing a black Sig Acrobat with packing tape all over the wings? I mean, it was black with blue triangles and a whole bunch of clear windows in it.
I tried to stay away from that side of the.
No, I had a practice plane that I had crashed so many times that never broke.
His eyes are still hurting from looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was flying one of the early Pathfinders.
All right.
I remember the Pathfinder. There was a Pathfinder over there. I'm not sure whose was it. Probably
Yeah.
was
The
yours.
yellow one?
Probably.
No,
Yeah.
it was white. I think it was white.
That could very well have been mine, or it could have been Gordon's.
I remember there were some at least one Pathfinder that I remember.
I remember
And I
getting
was-
you from there.
Yeah, I was flying my SV12. So after I finished the beginner pattern, I started to patch in the rest of the pattern that I just learned. I mean, I think I just learned how to fly the rest of the pattern, maybe a week or two before the contest was taking place. And after I finished the flight, the judge just came to me and said, "Yeah, buddy boy, you done.
You're
You're
done.
done.
You're down in
You
beginner.
do not belong in beginner no more." So they unceremoniously kicked my ass out of there.
Hey, when did each of you guys fly your first full stunt pattern in a contest? What year?
1992.
Mine was
Okay.
96.
1959.
Wow.
Good God.
Year I was
Wow.
born.
I'm a
You're-
dinosaur.
Been in the womb, huh?
1981 for me.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, for me, I think it would have been somewhere around 2015, I think.
Okay.
I think it'd be like
Because you're
2000,
a short time competitor.
2025 for me.
2025?
Yeah.
All right.
I haven't really got much better.
Why
Give
don't we-
yourself 5 years.
Hey, Steve, why don't we try for 2021?
It never happened.
Why?
I just know it won't.
Gotta believe.
If I can do the beginner pattern by next year, I'll be happy.
All right. You and Naomi both.
Hey,
I haven't
hey,
gotten
Len,
much better
Yeah.
flying since the 1959.
is your house on fire, or you're just visiting us from the gates of Hades? Because everything is red over there. Like if your face is red, everything is like it's burning over there. Seriously.
I don't know what's going on, but no, it's not.
You doing this
I-
by
Have an amber
camera
red
light
color.
or what?
Let's just say my color sucks.
Nah.
I can see my picture in here. It looks off color too.
I didn't
Doesn't
know they
look-
had. I didn't know they had orange men in Canada.
I don't know
Oh,
what
there
the
you go.
problem.
Much better.
Oh, what happened?
That's better.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
a magic
You
touch.
put
You
your
need a
hand
little bit
up
of that.
in
And, there you go.
Hey, how
It's better
about that?
now.
I just waved my
What
hand
happened?
in front of the camera.
It's magic.
Magic.
I waved my hand.
Wow.
Now it
I
everything
waved-
is
Well, now
yellow.
you're kind of green, like you. Now you're kind of green. It's like you have that. What's that disease they call when your blood is bad?
Anemia.
Anemic?
Anemia.
Jaundice. You got a jaundice now.
John, I'm a little green now.
Your camera has a mind of its own.
It sure does. Holy
Try
crap.
waving your hand the other way.
Oh, it's going orange.
Hey, Len.
Oh, there I went red again.
Hey, Len, how's the big cardinal coming along?
It isn't. I haven't touched it in months.
It's kind of like my dog. Been too hot to work on anything.
Yeah, I just,
don't want to sweat.
with COVID-19 and everything and no contests here at all this year, I haven't done a damn thing. I'm just buggering around with other stuff.
They've written
Yeah.
everything off in Canada, huh?
Yeah, it's all written on. It's all a big write-off for this year. That's okay. I'm okay with it. I'm doing other things. I'm still flying. I'm doing lots of flying this summer, but again, I'm not flying any of my big stuff because it's just too big a hassle. I'm just flying profiles and junkers. That's basically what I'm doing.
About the only meat that's left, even on the books around here, is that Toys for Tots, and that's just a fly-in at Christmas time.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think we're gonna. What's up?
You could have gone a little west and been at the Prairie Fire contest this past week.
A little west. I think that's a lot west.
No, he
No,
can't.
wait a minute.
He can't get out of
I'm
Canada.
way out here in the west. I have to go a lot east and
Oh,
then
wait a
north to
minute.
get there.
Yeah.
Wait
I'd
a
be
minute, John. If I go 15 minutes west, I'm in the water.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
And then I'm in the water with those big fish with the big teeth that they call jaws.
You still got
He calls
You know what?
jaws.
you still got those around there?
Sharks?
Yeah.
I
thought-
occasionally show up.
I thought all those homeless people ate them all up already.
When I was surfing, we used to run across sharks every now and then.
Me too.
As long as there was dolphin out there, we were okay. But if you'd see a fin with a hump underneath it, you're fine. If you see a fin with just a wake behind it, get out of the water.
Well, that you can judge by the sea lions and the seals. If they're all around you and that, there's no sharks. But if they disappear, you can't see any. You got a shark in the area.
Get out, yes.
Yeah, they were showing on TV here about off the East Coast, and all these
John,
people are out there swimming and shit. And a guy took a drone and they could see down in the water. It was clear enough.
Yeah.
And there was probably 50 sharks swimming around them people, and they never even knew.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of times, especially like I don't know about back east, but in California, a lot of times the sharks that are below you are blue sharks, and they really won't bother you too much.
They were saying they were
And
baby.
if you,
They
if
were.
you latch on for you, they're easy to get rid of.
They said they were all baby great whites.
Now that's a different story.
Yep. And they were in shallow water, and they saying that they're thinking that there's not a lot of food in the deeper water and stuff with all the overfishing and stuff. So they're coming in shallow and trying to find stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, between the overfishing and the global warming, it's sharks are getting pretty scarce. We need them in the ocean now.
Well, they've been around for millions of centuries before, and they'll be around for millions of centuries after we're gone.
Well, sharks are actually prehistoric.
Yep.
Hey guys, tomorrow morning I'm gonna wake up early in the morning to go get out there and just maybe practice some. So I'm gonna try to imitate Gary and crash.
So do you want us to call you up and wake you up?
Hey, Trey, best of luck to you tomorrow, brother.
Good luck trying.
Judging. I'll be judged tomorrow. Okay.
Stay safe.
They say that. Good luck
Enjoy.
tomorrow.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
Take care.
About a week ago, I was at the EAA meeting, our local chapter, and there's a guy that's in the meeting that is also a modeler, and he was given a plane with a gas engine, but he only does electric flying.
It's not a Fox engine, is it?
Nope. It's
Damn.
he told me it was a Sato 91, but I said, well, I'll come over and get it then if you don't want it. And he said, yeah, sure, come on over. I got over there. It's an OS 20.
Oh, it's 20. Wow.
OS 20 RC.
Well, you know,
I think I still have one of those.
you get a second one, you could make a twin.
There you go.
I'll send you mine.
It's a good little motor.
It is.
Nothing wrong with it.
You
I never could figure out what they were good for other than a little Sig Acrobat.
well,
Price was right.
the 20s, a pair of
Yeah.
20s on a Pathfinder twin would probably be pretty decent.
Is it an FP 20 or an OS Max 20?
It's
The
Mine
West
is
Surpass.
an
It's a 4-stroke.
no, it's not a 4-stroke. It's a 2-stroke. I don't know. I think it's an FP, but I'm not sure. It's an RC motor.
Yeah.
It's got the RC carb.
That's the same one I have.
That's
Yeah.
easy to fix. You just pull a carb up, put a Venturi in it.
Yeah.
Now you got a control line motor.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
a problem.
I just never liked the way the FPs ran.
I tell you what, I've got a pair of 20.
Yeah, they don't run like a Fox.
This
That's
is
for
very
sure.
true.
Yeah.
And if
They
you try
run.
to run them like a Fox, you have nothing but trouble.
You
That
can't
orange
do it.
airplane back there.
Got there.
Does it look like that?
No,
Probably.
it's got a back.
Turn it
cover.
around. That's an OS Max.
Yep, that's a 20.
That's an S
Max.
for me. That's a good one. Mine has the blocked off, half of the exhaust ports blocked off.
Yeah, it's missing parts.
And it's
Yes,
got
it
this-
is.
and it's
I
got
have a
huge bulbous part on the front of the cylinder.
brand new one of those. I just broke in this year on a trainer, and it runs beautiful.
Yeah, it's an OS Max 20.
Yeah.
See that orange airplane back there that I'm pointing to? That is a twin flight streak. It's almost 80-inch wingspan on it. Flies on a pair of OS 20 FPs.
All right.
What are you talking
I have looped it on one engine.
An FP20 is a very hot little motor.
Yeah, I'm running like 9.4s on it.
Yeah, I can believe it, because the only way to run that motor is to run it like a piped engine. They run good.
Oh yeah,
You can't run a 424 with those. You got to run them like a pipe motor.
yep, exactly. But that's
good.
Look at the span. Well, you can't see the span, but that's the stabbing elevator back there.
Oh wow.
That's as big as that's bigger than a junior flight streak, or what was that? Next one down,
Yeah.
regular one. Actually, it's a fun flying classic legal airplane. It's a fun flying. My buddies here
Okay.
tell me that the best patterns they see me fly have been on that airplane.
Wow.
What airplane's that, John?
Twin flights.
Path.
Okay. Yeah, I flew one of those with I had two LA-25s on it.
Yeah. More than you need, but
A lot more than I needed.
Here's an idea for you, John.
yeah.
I have a Strega that I really don't care about finishing. What if I cut the nose off and just put a point on it and built it with twin Fox 35s?
I would go twin. I would go. It's a good idea. I would go with a pair of twin like 29s, Fox 29s or something like that. The 35s, that's 70 displacement, and
Yeah.
it'll pull your arm off. The too much that Bruce is flying at the Prairie Fire. It's Gordon's original twin
Oh,
stunner.
that too much.
Yeah, that has a pair of Fox 35s in it, or the original did, and it'll pull your arm off. That's why we went with 15s on the twin flight streak, because you couldn't. It pulled so hard you couldn't finesse the airplane very well. It was good when he was younger and strong as an ox, and he was. But as he's gotten older, as we all gotten older, it gets harder and harder to fly that thing because it'll pull your arm out.
Man, as big
Come
as
on,
I am.
bring it on.
Yeah, you're tough.
Give me the two
Hang on, you
Fox 35s. I'll have at it.
Tom's showing something, you guys. What are you showing there, Tom?
This is the motor I got. So I guess it's a OS Max 20.
It's a Max. Yeah, it's an OS Max. That's the same one I have on my trainer downstairs.
That's a good little engine.
Good motor.
A motor is electric.
Nice looking engine.
What are you going to do with it now?
Yeah, I'm not even sure if it has been run. There's no glow plug in it.
Is the head clean? The top of the head, is it clean as a whistle? Yeah, it's brand new. Brand new.
Yeah.
It hasn't been run much at all, if at all. So it's perfect.
If you look on the top of the piston, there might be a little browning, and that'd be about it. That means
that one's got the strap muffler too.
Yeah,
that means it hasn't even been
the
broken
original muffler.
Yeah, it's never been run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll have to break it in.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't take much to break them in. I broke mine in on about 3-4 tanks, just on a block of wood, or on my little test stand. Ran beautiful. It was a little bit of a handful to start the first few times, but once it got going, it was fine.
Yeah.
That was the nice thing about the OS Max engines. They broke.
Easy to start.
I remember when they first were advertised. AHC had them in their advertising, and they were Japanese. We were used to flying KMBs, McCoys, and Foxes. That was our staple here. You might get a Merkel once in a while over here, but the OS Max was the first real widely used Japanese engine. Engines were here as well, and they're both kind of like an unknown situation. But the Max, the OS 35S is basically the one step beyond the old Max engine.
Well, isn't the OS S35 just a copy of a Fox, with a little better metal?
I've never heard that. I wouldn't be surprised though.
If you look at
better metallurgy.
If you look at the timing and compare the sleeves, they're almost identical.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised because the OS 35S is one hell of a good classic size stunt engine.
And it's one of the best 2.4 brakes I've ever heard.
Oh yeah, except for my stalker. Except for my stalker.
I've seen stalkers and they're quite impressive.
They are. No doubt about it. I agree.
No doubt about it. I agree.
I don't even have a stalker, but you know what? I think they're a fantastic piece of equipment.
I flew a Cardinal with a Stalker 40 on it.
I bet that was perfect.
It was unbelievable.
I bet. I believe you.
Flew.
Yeah, I believe you.
It had a Stalker 40. I think it was an 11.6 prop on it.
Yeah.
And he was rolling, I think, around 8,000 on the launch, maybe 8,500 on the launch.
That's about right. That's right in the ballpark.
It was just grunting. It wasn't even screaming.
Yeah.
My buddy here has an older Stalker 46, and that thing is just amazing. It runs just like a tractor. It's awesome.
Yeah. It should say John Deere. We should paint it green.
Exactly. Paint the head green and the body of it yellow. Honest to God, it runs like a tractor. And I tell
Everybody
you,
think you got a John Deere engine going.
yeah, and he's running like a 12-inch prop on it, 12.5 prop on it, and it pulls it like it's nothing. Just unbelievable. I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, that
Just shocked.
that cardinal flew so good and perfectly balanced.
I believe it.
You could flying level, get it downwind into the square loops, and just touch the up. Bam! This thing's going. It's like, man, this thing turns too fast.
Tom Dixon was saying that the newer 40s and 46s don't run very well on a profile, though. I don't know what that's all about. I'm not sure.
You talk about the
I was
side.
talking. Yeah, they don't like to be side mounted.
Huh.
Neither do foxes.
Well, I've got a 40 side exhaust and a 51 side exhaust. I'll be finding out eventually how they run
Okay.
side mounted.
Let me know how it runs when it's side mounted, the 40. Apparently the 51 runs fantastic side mounted, but not the 40 or the 46. But try it. Let me know.
I was told when I first started using stalkers that the 40 was a piece of junk, and it turned out what it was is people were trying to make them run like an OS 40 FP, you know, and they're not made to run that way.
Not made to run like that. Not at all. It's a totally different cat.
And people get in there with their magic Dremels, and they.
That's stupid. You never touch a motor unless you have to.
Yep.
You got it. If I want to run a 40 FP, I go to the Stunt Hangar, go to Randy's thing on engines and run it the way he says, and it runs perfect every time.
Yep.
You want to run it like a pipe motor. You don't want to try and run a 424 brake. It won't do it. It's not meant to do that.
Yep.
Yep.
You know, it's just you just have to do what they're meant to do, and they work great all the time. You don't try to run a Fox 35 like a pipe motor; it won't do it. You don't try to run an FP40 on a 424 brake because it won't do it.
Of course, I have the first Pathfinder full body called Pathfinder 40, and that runs an OS 40 FP, but it was worked over by Gordon Delaney.
Right.
And that engine does a 424 brake.
Most definitely.
And it will. That airplane is like 630, 640 square inches.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have those motors reworked. You have to have the timing changed if you want to run a 424 brake. They will do it if you change the timing.
But you take them straight out of the box, like you're saying, you run them like a pipe motor.
Most definitely. You put an L8 or an FP25 Venturi in it, add an extra head shim into it, and then run it with a low pitch prop. It'll run fantastic every time.
Yeah.
But it'll run like a pipe motor.
Well,
has anybody ever ran a Merco 40?
I haven't had a Merco. I had a Merco 60.
I had a Merco 35. It ran nice.
Gialdini used to run Merco 35s in the Stingray.
Yeah, I have a Merco 40.
Gialdini's motor for the Olympic?
Say what?
What was Gialdini's motor for the Olympic?
Fox 35.
It was either a Fox 35 or a Merco. Those are the two that I know he used.
Hey, Gary, you need to move your mic boom a little bit away when you're breathing.
When you're snoring.
I hear you. There we go.
That's
There we go.
When I put my Tiger 46 in my Olympic, it balanced about the front of the fuel tank. And when I put a Fox 35 in it with a half-inch, I think it was a half-inch, maybe it was 3/4 inch shaft extension on it. Now it balances just ahead of the spar.
Put a Roadjet 90 in it, it'll balance at the back of the spinner.
Yeah.
Well-
I'll put a big block Chevy in it.
It won't balance anywhere.
It'll balance on this. What do they call it? The harmonic balancer.
That's about it. Oh shoot.
Well,
But that,
yeah.
I had a Tiger 46. I sent it to Charles because when I had it in the plane, it was like, really? This is never going to work. I don't care how much horsepower this is. Charles said he had a use for it, so I just sent it to him.
Have you run it, Charles?
Not yet, but I will get a chance to probably put it. It fits in the Pathfinder I have. I don't want to re-drill
Okay.
the whole painted plane, so I got to put a muffler on it though. I think I might try a Tatone peace pipe
Okay.
with a strap.
I have a Tiger 46. It's been reworked by some guy. I don't remember who. What was the Bob Morris? Bob Morris reworked it. I don't know much about the motor. I've never run it yet.
Okay.
It looks pretty much brand new. I'll try it in something someday.
Yeah, I had a Super Tiger 46 and a Nobler, believe it or not, a year or two.
Okay. All
And
right.
it flew.
Okay.
But you know, the Tiger 46s require oil and good rings and a lot of stuff. And then when I put the LA 46 in the same plane, it was like so much easier.
Yeah.
And I ran
That's
right out of the box.
That's my thinking too. I may end up getting rid of the Tiger 46 just because I think it's going to be a hassle motor.
And they drink a lot of fuel.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hassle for those who are, you know, and I have a friends who use them and they're great. I mean, I was pitting for a friend at BSC. He had a Super Tiger 46, no muffler, and thing ran awesome. I was just like, wow.
I'd trade it for a stalker any day.
Everybody run Rossi motors?
I did I had a radio control hydroplane I ran a Rossi 90 in.
Wow.
It disintegrated and I threw the controller in the water because the controller was junk too.
I have a Rossi 15 in a combat airplane, an old combat airplane. It goes like stink, but boy, oh boy, does it ever go. Oh God, it scares the dickens out of me every time I run it. I mean, it's not as
starting that thing must be like jumping in a beehive.
pretty much. I don't like them. I mean, it's like starting a Fora. It's like starting an FAI combat motor. It's an old FAI. They just scream. I mean, they're not as fast as a modern combat motor, but it'll still turn 22,000 RPM. It really goes. I don't like that stuff. I
don't mind starting the Nelsons. The Nelson
don't like
36s. They're easy.
Sorry, I made a mistake. It's a Nelson I have, not a Rossi. I apologize. It's a Nelson I have, a Nelson 15, not a Rossi.
Nelson and a Rossi are not far apart.
Okay.
As far as performance, they're not far apart.
Some of the motors are actually you can use Nelson parts and a Rossi and Rossi parts and Nelsons.
Oh wow.
Can?
Huh.
Yeah, they're real close. That's what real close motors.
I never knew that. I had one Nelson 36. I had it on one of those old foamy Allen plane combat ships. And it went so fast. I was just like, I can't even keep up with this thing.
I need to get rid of all that stuff. I just need to find somebody who wants the stuff because you know what? It's just too fast and furious for me anymore. When I was even 10 years ago, I didn't mind it, but now I just don't like the stuff. I don't take it out because it kind of scares me and I'm always afraid I'm going to do something stupid and get hurt.
Well, then you can put it on Stunt Hangar in the classified, and then take the money and buy yourself a stalker.
Yeah, pretty much, eh?
Well, here's
True
the thing.
enough.
I got a couple of Fox Mark IVs that are on combat planes that are ready to fly.
Yeah.
If anybody wants them, I'll send them to you.
Hey Tom, you want to show us your video?
It's a really long video.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you want me to put it on here. And it's more the latest one is It's an ultralight airplane. It's not a model airplane.
Oh, okay.
It's how to build ribs for a legal eagle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just saw it in the chat, so I was like, oh, okay.
There's like they're like I don't know, thousands of parts in the whole wing set. In the rib
Whoa!
wing set. I
Wow!
think each rib has maybe 21 parts, 21 pieces per rib.
Wow!
So
Steve, you've been-
I'm going to get off tonight. My back is killing me, and
Oh, okay, Steve. Hey, hope you feel better. Man, I hope you
just
feel better.
scared. So
Steve, you
I'll
have a
see you
good
guys
night.
Monday.
Get healthy, Steve.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, man.
Very easy.
Good night, Steve.
good night, Steve.
Bye.
Good night.
So Peter,
So, Tom, did you want to show it, or is that too long? Is that
I do have a shorter one that's on model ribs that I did, but I don't know if everybody would be that interested. I'll just tell you about it.
okay?
Okay.
I've got this 30cc motor that I want to build a plane for, and I was thinking about building a Telemaster. So I have the plan for the ribs, and I was trying to figure out, of course, everybody knows the lighter the plane is, the better it flies. So this is a pretty heavy motor. I mean, it's light for an airplane motor, but for 30 cc's, it's not that light. Anyway, I was trying to figure out what the lightest method or materials to use to construct the ribs from. And so I built a balsa wood rib, a foam rib, and a plywood rib, and then weighed all three of them, and ends up that the foam rib is the lightest. So I'm probably going to use that method to build this wing.
Okay.
But it's probably going to be a while before I get around to it. I may just wait till winter to start building it, because right now there's too many other projects and things I can do outside. So
Right. So the thicknesses were the same.
the foam rib was actually the thickest, but
Yeah, otherwise you'd have no strength.
it's made out of foam board so that you get the strength you need.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. So when you say foam board, how thick is this foam board?
It's about a 1/4 inch thick.
Okay. All right.
Is it the kind of foam board you find at an office supply store for presentations?
Yes.
Okay.
And how big would these ribs be?
I think they're 12 inch, about
Okay.
12 inch
Okay.
rib.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's neat.
You guys want to see my progress on my precious balsa?
Of course
Sure.
we do.
Sure.
Let's see here if I can bring that up. I just have 4 pictures to show you. Let's see here. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
No.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it. Oh, wow.
And
Nice.
then let me see if I can get the next picture. Let's see.
Hang on. Let me just click on that. Oh, yeah. Cool.
Hang on. Where's the next picture at?
Is this your Strega fuselage?
Yeah. And so
Okay.
that's a side view of it. This is
Okay.
the top block, and here's another top view of it, and then that's half of it being contoured.
Okay. Cool. Looks good.
Making progress.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
hoping to finish the other side this weekend is the plan. And
Yeah. Get out the big number 26 blade and start carving.
you know what I was using? I was using a what's the German plane, a Soligen,
Okay.
small little plane, and that works awesome.
Oh, I know the ones. Yes, yes, yes. I have one of those. The little plane. Yeah, I've got one of those. A little balsa plane.
Yeah, it's a little small little thing. It's about the same size as the Master Airscrew plane, but the
Yeah, yeah,
Master
yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, they're great. They work good.
I bought it off of eBay and works pretty good. I remember hearing some builder, I think even Bob Hunt um, or Sparky talked about that plane, and I was looking for one ever since. And
I I've got a little plane, but I don't know if it's the same one. I'd have to bring it up.
yeah, I have about three different planes. And then for a while, I was looking at those Japanese wooden planes,
Okay.
and also the planes they use to build guitars. There's a lot of really small finger planes that
Oh
are used
wow.
to build guitars.
Okay.
I
I've
mean,
never seen them.
yeah, I mean they're really like like that big,
Yeah.
real small
Wow.
little finger planes, and
That's neat.
they're used in building instruments.
Huh.
I
And
use
then
something like that. I just got it at the Harbor, not Harbor Freight, but at the local Ace Hardware. And I forget what the brand is. It's like Stanley, I think, makes it.
yeah, I have a
Okay.
Stanley. I have a Stanley one too. I must have about 4 or 5 small little planes. Just trying them all out, see what I really like. But I had good success with that Solingen, I think.
I'm gonna
Soligen. It's a German.
Well, the
German.
thing with the thing with the Stanley is if you're holding it, you want to turn it just a little bit so you're cutting on the
Right,
bias just a little bit.
right,
You
right.
do that, they just work beautifully.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
Now, I got a question for Peter though.
all right.
How's the Saginaw coming along? I saw you working.
Yeah,
gonna
Peter's
make it
the only
real
one that Peter's
big.
the only one working.
You know how it's coming along. I've been sitting here sanding away and
Oh yeah.
doing this and
Oh yeah.
taking that off.
It's looking good.
Yeah.
I know.
Where's the wing?
The wing is
Still
not,
in the box.
so I'm just like
Very
making sure that's
Yeah.
all switched off. And
Very
I really like doing the nose treatment like that. It stiffens up the nose, cuts down on the vibrations,
Oh yes, absolutely.
and
Sure would.
looks good.
yeah, but it's a pain in the rear end.
Only
Yeah,
if you got a skinny butt.
you only gotta do it one time though, Peter. Once you get it done, you never have to do it again. You just admire your handiwork forever.
So yeah, that's that. At least that part of it is about done. I'm not going to start putting on the
That Lynn,
enhancements.
turn it toward me, Lynn, a little bit.
This is
And
the
then
little plane I have.
Plane,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's cool.
plane, the plane.
It
Yeah.
just has like a razor type blade in it. It really works great. I've had it for years.
Yeah, that looks good. I think I might have one like that too. And any odd or different plane for a while, I was just kind of picking them up on eBay.
I bought it at the hobby shop probably 15, 18 years ago, and I bought a couple of packages of blades, and I've never used that many of them, but every now and again I throw a new blade in it, and it'll probably last me all my years of building.
Yeah, I mean it's cut and balsa, right?
That's right.
Well,
I've been
be sure you leave one good blade so that when you're gone, your wife can sell it and get a good price.
I know what she's going to do with it when I'm gone. What's this? Oh, I don't know. Over the shoulder and into the dumpster. That's where it's going.
We'll all have to make a trip up there and hang around your dumpster then when you're gone.
No, you know what's going to happen? I got to admit, if anything ever happened to me, at least Naomi knows what the stuff is. She's done enough model airplanes and built enough that she knows what everything is pretty much.
Yeah. My wife would be at a loss. She wouldn't know.
Yeah, Naomi knows what most of the stuff is because she's spent enough time in the shop building with me to know what most of the stuff is.
That's great.
She wouldn't know the value of anything, but she knows what the stuff is.
Well, the value is going to change. I mean, over a period of time. I mean,
Well, yeah, it's gonna. Most of it goes down, unfortunately for us.
yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, I mean, if
Not unless it's a Prather pitch gauge.
yeah,
Well,
isn't that the truth?
why are they worth a ton of money?
Well,
They're going up.
the sellers sure do think so.
Okay, I think I have one. I think Wendy gave me one.
Wow.
And you're not using it?
I don't use it much. I know how to use it, but I haven't used it much.
Hey, you don't need it. Send it to me.
Nice guy. Why do I get the feeling he's trying to whittle me out of a pitch gauge?
Normally I'm a nice guy, but you know, there's some things that'll make
You are a nice guy. Don't worry. But you know what? We'll have to work something out. See what I can get in return out of this deal.
I'll let you look at my stalker.
All right. Oh, you almost had me going. I thought you were going to let me have one of your stalkers. Then I'll give you the pitch gauge.
What you got there, Tom?
That looks pretty cool.
Skylark.
A Goldberg. Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. A Carl Goldberg. You know how I knew? The leading edge. The leading edge gave it away, Tom.
This was one I built a little while ago.
15 pounds of leading edge.
Yeah, they were always pretty heavy.
No kidding.
This one I put a
nice.
four-stroke, 61 four-stroke in it.
Nice.
Looks nice.
That paint or that film?
That is film. My own scheme.
Very nice.
Yeah, very nice. I like the twist going down the fuselage.
I like it. It looks amazing.
Was that a pain in the butt to do, Tom? That looks like a pain.
Yeah, it's
tricky,
pretty time consuming.
That was demonstrating spiral airflow.
So is that before you could do rolls? You just flew down there.
So you just intertwine it as you go, right?
Right.
Yeah, that looks good. I am impressed.
Yeah, cut out on a sheet of glass.
Yeah.
The film and then intertwine like that
as you put it on.
Right.
Very nice. Good job.
Very nice. Yeah, it does look like a Skylark though.
So who's the pilot?
Not me. Not me.
Yeah, not me. He's got hair.
Oh!
I don't know, but with that red hair, it looks like he should be named Liam.
No, that might be what's our buddy's name there? That's he's a clown. He does.
I know who you're thinking of.
Shug
Emery.
Shug Emery, yeah.
Shug Emery.
Minnesota. He's from Minnesota.
Is he?
Yeah.
Where is he? He's flying your Skylark.
Skylark.
Skylark, excuse me.
He's with the piston poppers, right?
He's with the piston poppers. Yeah. That's right.
Well, he's come a long ways in a couple of years, hasn't he?
Yeah.
His flying is really much better when just 2 years ago.
He's a very talented guy.
In many, many ways.
Yeah, exactly.
He used to be a circus clown from what I heard.
Yeah, he was.
I imagine he was pretty good at it, too.
Get rid of the "you really." Who's putting that up there? That thing should be shot.
No, we were talking about the Prather pitch gauge and what people are like expecting to get something for it.
Okay.
So I figured, oh yeah, these people want $50 for this thing that nobody's ever going to buy. But you got to read this description here. As clear as detailed as possible. Please research this item before bidding. But
bid or buy with confidence.
We do not know if the previous owner and if they were smokers or had pets. What would that have to do with anything?
Might have pissed on it. Who knows?
Yeah, that's kind of strange about the pets. I can kind of understand smoking, maybe.
Well,
Maybe the
it was
pet.
some,
Yeah, maybe the pet was smoking. Who knows?
My
some
dad got
people,
it.
some people, when they realize they overpaid for something, they'll use any excuse they can to try to send it back. So he's just outlining it right up front. These are the rules. Did you get him, Len?
Yeah, I got him. That darn mosquito. He was been flying around me for 20 minutes. Finally got him.
You need to get your engine in there and do a few test runs on the engine and smoke that sucker out.
Hey, I ran this week. I had a gentleman give me a K&B 61 and a K&B 65 Sportster. I got them both going with Venturis and needle valves in them.
Very
Cool.
nice.
That 61 is a good engine. The 65
Nobody gives me nothing.
the 65 is good, but it's heavy.
Yeah, it's what I did with the 65 because there's no commercial part available for it. I just took a Rojet Venturi and hit it in there with a hammer and then stuffed the needle valve assembly through it and it worked great, no problem.
Wow, you
Isn't
can't.
McCoy,
Well, it was a little tight, so I just tapped it in with the hammer.
isn't McCoy making parts for those things?
Yeah, Mikoa makes parts for them, but there's no control line parts for the 65 Sportster.
Oh,
It's an RC motor only, but I made it into a control line motor real quick. Ran pretty good on the block. I just ran it with like Fox type fuel. It ran good. It likes lots of caster.
that KB 28 Sportster is an awful good airplane engine for
Okay.
for like a twister and things along that size.
Okay. Cool.
Well, those K&B Sportsters don't have a sleeve, right?
That's
No.
right. That's right. Once they wear out, they're garbage. So don't wear them out. Run them very gently.
Well, I actually had one 20 converted to a diesel,
Okay. Wow.
and it worked real well. I had to put a different. I got it through Davis Diesel, and he gave me a stronger rod for it,
Okay.
but it ran very well.
That's
I ran
cool.
I ran a KB 28 on a overweight twister, and it hauled it around really well, actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Wow.
and with the stock buffer on it, it was very quiet, almost as quiet as an electric.
Hold on again. Hold on just a moment, guys. Does anybody see that there's anything wrong with this?
Absolutely not.
No,
Hey,
There's something seriously wrong with that.
Peter, I tapped it. I didn't beat the living you know what out of it.
it's called a pressure fit.
It's a nice tight fit. I won't be taking it out in a big hurry. I'll tell you that.
You'll have to
the
use
oven
that.
and stepping out.
I'll
Peter,
show you
the
my.
Peter,
I'll
the
show
problem is you need a bigger hammer.
I'll have to show you my workmanship.
Yeah.
No, it's just when you describe it, you needed a hammer.
No. And I was kind of taking it back too. I was afraid he might crack the crankcase. Tap that thing in it. But I guess, like he said, just a little bit of a tap. But I would take some sandpaper, like 600 grit, and just kind of sand that Venturi down a little bit. So we'll just push it.
Have you ever put a Venturi stuffer in a brand new Mark 6?
No.
Oh, you got to tap those in too. Because the Venturi stuffer is just a hair bigger than the inside of the square Venturi.
Uh-huh.
And to get the needle valve hole to line up, you got to tap it once with a little brass hammer. Click. And then you can jam the needle valve through it.
Okay.
Or the spray bar.
Yeah, I've seen those little nice brass hammers at Harbor Freight. And I always think
Don't buy one. They're junk.
they are.
They're garbage. The brass is so soft, it's like hitting something with lead. It's not even worth using. But you're better off taking that hammer and cutting it up and making tip weight out of the brass.
Okay.
You can't
A lot
temper
of
it?
people, what's that?
You can't temper it?
If you wanted to bother with it, but for $5, I'd just walk away from it. I wouldn't even buy it.
Well, how much does a good brass hammer
Well,
cost?
the one I bought from Snap-on was $95.
Okay, so $5, if I can temper it and make it work for hobby use, it might be worth it. Because $95, $90 difference. I could go get a couple of hot dogs for that $90.
Yeah, you
Well, I
can.
was figuring I was going to go to eBay and buy another Stallion 35 for that $90.
Or you could buy two Fox 35s, you know.
I could buy 4 Fox 35s for $90.
There you go.
They're
I'd buy those
cheap.
before I'd buy a Stallion.
Why? Why do you hate Stallions?
I've never had any luck with them, but that's just me.
Stallion. My Stallion, I run it wet 2-cycle
Okay.
and just burn it. It's not quite a pipe run, but it's not a 4.2 brake. It's kind
Sort of in the middle.
Look at that. Look at that.
Let's check out this engine here.
Look
Oh,
how
nice.
flared the top of that thing.
Look at that Rojet. Rojet Venturi sits right nice in there.
Oh, that is nice.
Turned out really well.
That's the one you had to hammer in?
That's the one I had to tap it in, not hammer. I shouldn't have said hammer it in. Tap
So
it in.
that got the sprinkler type arrangement on it, or what?
Yeah, it's got the sprinkler type arrangement on it. The hole where the Venturi goes through is very big. So what I did is I put a couple of nice washers on the one side so that it would seal it up real good.
Ah,
And it worked excellent.
That's nice.
Yeah, it turned out really sharp.
What
This
do you
motor
want?
was
That's a K&B Forestry.
65 Forester. And the piston and everything looks nice and clean, so it ran really nice. But it was filthy dirty. I spent hours cleaning it up, but it looks like almost brand new.
so what does it weigh?
15.2 ounces.
Whoa!
I don't think my truck weighs that much.
And then there's
there you
this.
go, Charles. There's an engine for the front of your Gialdini. Oh, come on! I can't think of the name of the plane.
There's the
my.
61.
I've never seen one before.
And what I did with that's the K&B 61. And what I did with it is I put an Enya Venturi fit in it perfectly, absolutely perfect. And then I just used the Super Tiger needle valve and spray bar.
The KMB 61 makes a pretty darn decent stunt engine.
It ran really nice on the stand. It was excellent.
Yeah.
And
John,
it
I could put that 15-ounce engine in my Olympic. It would balance at the back of the spinner.
Yeah, that's about right.
Hey, it's still lighter than my Rojet. My Rojet 90 weighs 20 ounces.
Whoa.
It's a heavy motor.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Rojet 90 is 20 ounces.
And a Fox 35 weighs all of what, 4
8
1/4 ounces?
It's about 8, isn't it?
Mine are 4 1/4.
They're under 5 ounces, man.
Yeah,
What?
Mine are
Really?
4 1/4.
I don't believe it. I got to go down and weigh this. I don't believe a Fox 35's under. I don't believe a Fox 35's under 5 ounces. No way. It's got to be 8 ounces or 6.8 ounces, something like that.
Less than 8
4
ounces.
1/4. I've got 7 of them.
Okay, you would know, but they really less than 5 ounces?
What's Peter showing here?
An OS
OS
Max.
Max what?
That looks like a VF.
VF what? 40 or 25?
Can't hear you, Peter.
Peter, your volume's gone for a crap.
Turn your mic on, Peter.
It's an OS Max.
60?
What?
Yep.
60.
60.
Yep.
60.
It's the
All right.
Go-Ahead.
That
It
looks like
All
weighs,
right.
just for comparison reasons, it weighs 13.5 ounces.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
that's not bad at all.
And the Venturi from a OS Max 40 FSR fits it perfectly.
Is that a ball bearing engine?
Yes.
That's the reason why it weighs what it weighs.
The K&B 61 is 13.6 ounces without the
Okay, so they're
muffler.
comparable.
Yeah, without the muffler. 13.6.
I think my Canby Stallion is only 6 ounces, 6.5 ounces.
Yeah, but you can't swing a 13.6 prop with it either.
I'm only pulling a 49-inch airplane.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's true. I'm pulling what I want to build is I'm going to build a 60-inch spanned airplane, like an Impact or something like that. I'm going to build it profile, but I'm going to put clamp mounts on it and use it for all these different motors to see which ones run and do comparisons on them. That's what I wanted.
Are you gonna scratch build it, or are you gonna
Yeah,
just
I'll
buy
scratch build it. Yeah, I'm going to scratch build it.
Yeah, that's what I like to do now. I was watching Sparky's videos, build videos,
Yeah,
and how he did like the rib strips and notch the solid, like the almost like an I-beam, but a straight spar
yeah.
with the rib notches in it. And I'm thinking this is so much easier and so much cheaper than buying a kit. Let's just do this.
I got to show you guys my latest project.
Yeah, please do.
I'll go get it. Hang on.
Go get it.
Oh, I'm
Hey, Garrett.
starting work on my shop. I'm patching all the holes in the wall,
Very nice.
getting ready to patch it and then paint it.
You know,
Wow.
you could get away with patching a lot less holes if you just leave your gun in the back room.
But I got to practice somewhere.
This is true, but your neighbors probably don't appreciate it very much anymore.
Well,
Mine.
Mine isn't a 45 or a 50, so it just barely gets through the wall, you know.
Plus your neighbors are what? How far away your neighbors are?
Huh?
How close is your next door neighbor?
Probably about 70, 80 feet.
Wow.
You know, my gun is CO2 powered, and it shoots a little round brass thing.
Let's see what Lynn has for us. Looks like is that a Cardinal rudder?
Looks like a cardinal.
This is a plane a buddy of mine crashed this week.
Oh,
And he took the whole outboard wing off it. And what it is it's an old Sig Chipmunk.
okay.
So what I did is I brought it home. He was going to throw it in the garbage pail. So I brought it home and glued the tails all back on it again. And then what I did is I cut into the wing very carefully, and I cut angles on all the spars. As you can see, I've got them all cut on different angles and in different places, so I can notch all the new parts in, hook the wing back on, put a new wing on it.
Wow.
So I've cut out 5 ribs for the end of the wing. I saved the wing tip, and then I'll just glue it all back together again, resheet the leading edge, and put a new trailing edge on it, and should be back together by next weekend, hopefully.
So no wonder you're not getting anything done on that Cardinal.
Oh, of course not. I'm buggering around with other stuff this year. I'm having way too much fun on other things.
That happens. It's so hard to stay focused and true.
Oh yeah, but I just couldn't let him dump it in the garbage because the rest of the airplane, as you can see, is in pretty good shape. It's not broken or anything. So why throw it out? I figured.
What did he do? What did he do? Crash it into the flight box or something?
No, he was doing a maneuver and he missed the wind, and then it cut across the circle, jerked on the lines, and went in and did a cartwheel.
Yeah, just make sure the flap doesn't move on the inboard side. Heck with the outboard wing, you can fly it that way.
Yeah, you can cover the rest of it with packing tape.
Yeah, that's right. Just wrap the end of the wing up the way it is right now with packing tape, and let's go flying.
I've seen people do it, so I'm not going to say anything. But I've seen people do it.
Yeah, I don't think I'll try that one. But everything was. He didn't bugger where the wing meets the fuselage. There isn't a mark. There's no marks on the nose at all. So and the wheels, even the gear didn't get broken. So I thought, oh, what the heck? I'll take it home. I can fix that. No big deal. So that's what I'm gonna do.
All
And
right.
then
Way to go, lad.
when I cut the flap, I'll just notch it right back into the horn, and away we go. The horn's secure. Everything's fine.
Controls still work free.
Yeah, they work nice and free. No
Very
problem.
nice.
That'll work.
Very
So
nice.
yeah.
Of course, you can't get BOM out of that, you know.
Oh, I'm not going to compete with it. I just
Oh,
want.
why not?
I'm going to put it back together, fly a couple of patterns with it, and then give it back to him. That's my goal.
Oh, what a guy. Can I ship
Oh,
some
yeah.
planes up to you?
Depends on how good they are. If they're too good, I might keep them.
Wow.
Hey, Len, I got a Banshee that needs some fixing.
I'll bet you do.
Man, that thing is terrible.
Everybody has something in their basement that needs fixing. Everybody.
I don't have a basement.
Well, they have one in their house somewhere,
I
their
have a
garage.
garage.
Yeah, in the garage.
Yeah, I got
Yeah, I
Oh.
don't have it in the garage. It's like hanging right back up there. You can see it right there.
Looks like Gary. Hey, Gary, wake up. Gary. He's gone again. We lost him.
Gary.
When I lived in California, I could count on the fingers of one hand all
Yeah.
the houses that I saw that had basements.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
Where were they?
Well, up in
Here-
Glendora, in the old part of town.
Here in Can
I know of one in San Dimas.
Yeah.
basements are big in Canada.
Yeah.
Well,
Now
yeah.
Warren Walker
Okay.
has a basement, Jeff.
What's that?
Warren Walker. Warren.
Where's that?
Yeah.
Where does he live?
He lives in Rancho Cucamonga or Paris.
It's a new subdivision. It's a nice subdivision, large lots.
Yeah. And I have a friend down here in San Diego with a basement. So that's two I know of in California.
They're
Those
just
must
not.
be add-ons.
They're just not commonly seen. A lot of the houses, especially the ones that are built after the war, were what they call a monolithic pour. You poured the concrete in, and you with the rebar and that, but it was set up to where it went a little thicker where the footings would be, and it was basically just floated on the ground.
Basically a pad.
Basically a pad, and I think partly it was because of the earthquakes. It would tend to.
Float around as opposed to breaking up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, my house
That makes sense.
My house is one of those 1947s that was built for the returning GIs, where when they built the houses, they laid the rebar in the forms. And then after the inspector looked at it and said, okay, you can pour, they pulled the rebar to the one next door. And then they poured the concrete here, because there ain't no rebar in this foundation.
Oh man,
Cheap buggers.
How bad your floor cracking?
Not bad at all. I fixed it.
Uh,
No, I made it this place livable. And then I built this bar in the backyard. The only problem is my garage floor.
Well, Tom's
has
got
no
something.
rebar in it. Uh-oh.
What's he got?
Think that fit on a control line?
What is it?
It's a 30cc.
30cc.
Does
What
that thing
size
come with
prop?
It's a moped engine.
Does that
What's
thing
the
come with a pull
what's the
start?
prop? How big's the prop?
Can't remember. 16.8, I think.
I'll fly that, no problem. I fly 16.6s on my Rojet 90, no problem. Fire one up.
What do you sit on it and like? Never mind.
That's a chainsaw, not chainsaw.
Maybe it's a 26.
I heard that, Peter.
Len bolts tent stakes to his back of his boots.
That's right, if I have to. People like to see me hand flip that Rojet 90. They like watching that deal.
I'll tell you where I got my biggest laugh was watching you fly that got Byslob.
Oh yeah, I love flying bislobs. They are a hauler.
That video you put up, that was hysterical. I was laughing like crazy. I was just thinking, now that looks like fun.
Did you watch the one that we have on YouTube of me flying the whole pattern with a Junkyard Wars plane at Brodax?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, we built that airplane in less than 2 hours on the field.
What motor was on that thing?
LA-25.
Okay, that works.
Yeah.
It sounded like it was screaming.
It was screaming. It was a little bit over the top, but it managed to keep it together.
It's all right.
It was almost
over
too
the top
lean.
is how I live my life.
Me too. Not so much anymore, but I did.
Yeah, I used to water ski behind a friend of mine's boat, and he was clocked with me hanging on the back of it at the Lake Castaic drags at 132 miles an hour.
No way, you
Jesus
could have died. You could have
Crazy bugger.
You could have got killed, man.
You're crazier than a bag of busted hammers.
Here's a Byslob here video. With this.
All right.
There you
That's
go.
Shug.
Sure.
That's Shug flying that. Woohoo!
In Minnesota.
All right. I love Byslobs. They're my favorite thing anywhere.
I've never flown one.
Oh, you got to get yourself a Byslob. That's the epitome of a Fox 35 airplane.
That's what I've heard.
That's the only thing I'll put in a Byslob is a Fox 35 stunt. There's no sound like it.
And then you run them so rich, it's like they're throwing raw fuel out the pipe.
And the windier it is, the better. I want it to be blowing a hoolie when I'm flying the Byslob.
Really?
Blowing a what?
How you can see? You can see it's a Fox 35 in it.
Yeah, blowing a hoolie. You know what that is?
Go ahead. It's got to be a Canadian version of what we
It must
call the
be.
Willowa in Alaska.
That's right, blowing a hoolie. That means really blowing.
Ah,
Wow.
In Florida, Pete would call that hurricane force winds.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I love flying. There's no fun like flying a Byslob on a windy day. You just keep her downwind and you can do anything you want.
Really?
Unbelievable.
I've never flown one. I've seen them fly.
Oh, you know, I'll tell you something. The first few times you fly it scares the living daylights out of you because you don't know what to do. It's not like flying control line. It's more like flying a kite.
Yeah, and you go so slow. It's like, how does it?
Oh yeah.
At the end of the lines when you're up, above 45 and it's
You know what I like doing is I like letting Naomi fly it. She can practice her loops and her eights with it because it does it slow enough that she can do them without getting all clustered over it.
That's cool.
It's a great.
I did notice that you kind of got your butt handed to you in Byslob combat.
Well, he ended up letting go of his handle and caused mine to crash.
Oh, is that what happened?
That's what happened. He let go of his handle, caused me to crash. I lost mine. He didn't lose his. But I rebuilt mine. I put it all back together. Did I show it to you?
Yeah, I think you did, yeah.
Yeah, it used to be red.
That was the one you said you had to cut the nose off because the spinner was dragging or something?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Yeah, you showed that plane.
Yeah.
I love that airplane. That video, I was laughing so hard watching.
That Byslob originally was red, and now it's orange and green.
And then not only that, I was watching that video with that guy that brought the kids over, and I was like, you know what? I said, not personally, but I know that guy.
Well, close enough to personally. We see each other on here every other week almost.
Pretty much, yeah. And that kind of made it fun to watch.
Oh, yeah. We have a lot of fun with this. We're sure going to miss Brodax, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a shame. It's too bad. I'm glad I went, though. I'm glad I got a chance.
I'm glad you went there, too.
Before it closed. That was 2016, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never got to go to Brodax. I do locals. I do. I haven't done a contest in so long that I'd almost be afraid to even try it.
Well, you know what? You always could just tell the judges, "Hey, I'd like to fly an intermediate. It's been a while since I've flown."
Well, I know I can't start in beginner because I don't know the beginner pattern.
Well, that's a good reason.
Yeah, well, you always can tell the judges what you will do, and then they'll just know not to expect
Too
the other
much.
aspects. Yeah.
Start slow.
That's been probably the last contest I flew. Tom Warden was coaching me.
Wow.
Wow. That's a
And
long
he was
time.
still alive. So that was probably in the 90s,
Wow.
Okay.
the late
Hey, well,
90s.
yeah, come on out, man. You might as well do it while you still have breath in your lungs. I mean, one
Yeah.
day you might not be able to do it, so do it while you can. That's my attitude, because we just don't know what life has in store for us.
Most definitely. If you've got enough health to get in the car and drive out and do it, do it.
Yeah, because one day you're going to be so old, it's going to be like, you have to
I
try
wish
to.
I'd done it.
Yeah,
You
you won't
never
be.
want to get old and say, I wish I did it.
Yeah.
Well, I know. I went to the base, and that's last time I was there. Probably, I don't know, probably a year ago. And I went out flying, and I was launching from a stooge because there was nobody there. I was flying a ringmaster, and it was like tip down, and then upside down it was tip up.
Tip up. Need the trim tab.
This thing's got a little bit of a twist in it.
Yep,
Yeah.
needs a trim tab.
Yeah, so I flew it around. I really didn't think much of it. And then I broke out my old. In fact, it's in the picture that's in the calendar, the old Nobler. And it had a Fox 40 on it with an 11.5 on it. So I fired that up and I flew it. And I flew the pattern with it. And the guys there were like, holy shit, where have you been?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Where have you been?
exactly.
Fixing my house. I bought a fixer upper back in '96, and it took me 20 years to do it because I did everything by myself. My wife and I did everything by ourselves.
Well, that's nice.
And now I pretty much got time to do what I want to do. That's where the junkyard dog's coming from.
Oh, that's good.
Right.
And
So
the
you need to
reason
get
I
out.
call it the junkyard dog, because I designed it for a Fox 35 and nobody likes it.
You know something? What you do is, get back in the hang of flying. Then you go to a competition. You enter expert class, and you enter a bislop. That would completely screw with everybody's head.
That might be fun to do. You know what? I can see myself having fun doing that.
Yeah, the only trouble is you might not have fun trying to do a pattern with a bislop. That's a little tricky.
It irritates the heck out of the judges.
You'll totally screw with the judges' minds. I mean, everybody there. It's just a point,
It would irritate.
It's kind of like when Joe Gilbert goes to a contest and beats everybody with a ringmaster. And I've seen it, and I'll tell you, it's really something to behold. He'll go out there with a ringmaster, and he'll beat everybody on the field because he's that good.
Yeah, that's how Bart Kaplinski is.
Yeah. Some guys just have the talent.
Hey, Ed, we're not live tonight, so if you have any bad language, it's all right. There's no prohibition on that.
But I'm thinking you go up, you enter a bislop, you do the pattern with it. Nobody is going to talk about the guy that won the actual event. Everybody's going to be speaking for the next 20 years about the individual who entered the bislop.
Yeah.
Yep.
That would
Very
be
true.
Mike, working Ed? I don't hear you.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
Sorry
cool.
about that. I can hear you guys.
Cool.
Oh, we hear you now.
Yeah, I can't stay long. I'm in between coats of paint. So,
In
I have a
between,
question. I was going to ask it last week before I fell asleep. Um, I'm working on a biplane. How do you determine, this biplane was gifted to me. How do you determine the fore and aft location of the belt crank? There's no plans. I mean, he's on center gravity, center lift, in between the wings. I don't know. How do you determine where the belt crank goes in the biplane?
you know, John might be back here in a second. John Miller might have a good answer. Maybe Tom. I don't.
okay.
It'd be
I
nice,
don't know.
The
Peter.
last I heard is the bell crank in the fuselage or is it in the bottom wing?
It's in a fuselage.
Okay, the last I heard is you take a straight line between the two spars and set it like at or behind about an 1/8 inch behind the spar. Either center spar, roughly the straight line between the high spots.
On the lower wing or the upper wing,
If your wings are staggered,
which they
you
are.
draw a straight line between the high spots
Okay.
and then set your bell crank on that line or slightly behind it.
Okay. Now, how about the vertical? As far as
Right in the center.
Yeah, right between the two wings.
Yes.
As close as you can.
I mean, up and down.
Yeah.
yeah, up and down, yeah. Because I've
If,
seen them
if,
high,
it,
I've seen them
if
seen
it's
low.
an inverted engine, you're going to want to mount it lower,
Mm,
closer, a little bit closer to the lower wing.
Okay.
If it's an upright engine, you want it really low, or actually up high. I mean, I'm sorry, up high.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to be an upright engine when I'm done. Yeah.
You're going to want it
What
coming
is it?
out about mid strut. Your
Okay.
lead outs are going to be mid strut.
Okay.
And your lead outs should be straight. This is what I've heard. I don't know. I could be way wrong.
So like I said, I got the plan. I have no plans, and you know,
What biplane is it?
I'm not even sure of that.
No,
it,
what
it
you
came.
can do is if you can find the 38 special, Brodak makes the 38 special. That could be
Use that as a reference. That's a good reference.
a good reference.
That would be a good. That would be a good
Very good idea.
Okay.
basis, so to speak, I swear. But if you use that straight line between the two high spots and somewhere mid fuselage, depending on whether you're upright or invert, you raise it or lower it, and
Yeah,
then
it'll be an upright
all
engine.
right.
What does the engineer have to say?
What's that?
I was asking Tom. I need an
Oh.
engineer. He might have an idea.
No,
Everybody knows it's going to be Tom.
I think the suggestions that were given are probably pretty good.
I have a plan for a 38 special I can break out if you want me to. Hang on, I'll go grab it. Hang on.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that is a good reference. It's as good a reference as you can get.
The one thing I do know about building especially a control line biplane, is you really got to overpower it.
Okay.
I mean, if it's a like a 32-inch wing,
That's about what it is. Right, it's right around
at
30 meters.
least a 35 in it.
Okay.
I mean, even a 40 at that. I mean,
Right.
because a biplane has so much drag.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have a lot of lift, but they have so much drag that it's just, it just takes a lot of power to pull them.
Okay.
My dad built a plane. In fact, I bought it for him for Christmas, and I forget what it was. It's not the 38 Special, or it was the old Sterling biplane, whichever one that was. And he put a McCoy 19 in it, and that thing would barely get off the ground.
Okay.
And it was only a 28-inch wingspan. John knows a lot about biplanes. He might be able to.
What's that?
Oh, he was asking about the bell crank location. And I said somewhere between the vertical line and the spars.
A biplane, you take the leading edge of the forward wing and trailing edge of the aft wing, and that is your total chord. And so then you figure if you're going to go, say you want to balance it, say 24, 26%, you take that dimension from the leading edge to the forward wing to the trailing edge of the top wing. That's your mean aerodynamic chord. If you got a straight wing, it's a little different if you play around with and have wings that are angled.
There you
But
go.
you set your center line. You set. I always put my center of my belt crank close to my CG, or what the CG line would be. So that, in my case, like with the biplane I built, the actual center line of the belt crank is right on the CG.
Okay.
Len's back. He's got the plans for the 38
Okay.
special. So
The 38 special, the center of gravity over top of the top wing. Let's see, we are about an inch and a quarter behind the center of gravity for the center of the bell crank, as you guys can see.
Let me make it larger here. All right.
yeah, there's the bell crank.
Okay.
As you guys can
The
see,
bottom wing.
there's the top center of gravity there, and it's about an inch and a quarter behind.
That's
Hey,
fine.
Len,
Now the distance between the is a little closer to the bottom than the top, as you can see for height.
where do the lead outs work out on that airplane? It doesn't show them
Okay,
right there.
let me just see if I can see anywhere.
Is that bell crank on the thrust line?
Yes, basically it's just a little below, but not much,
Okay.
like an eighth of an inch.
You try to figure where your vertical center of gravity is.
So yeah, it's been, oh yeah, I guess because of the thickness of the bell crank, yeah, it'd be right on the thrust line. Yes, it would be. Not seeing where the lead outs come out. Just hang on.
It looks probably straight out on the
It's not on the wing plan.
I remember when I built a scale model of the beach staggering, the bell crank was buried in the fuselage, and the lead outs pretty much came straight out of the fuselage to the support that ran, basically that support that was shown on those plans that stabilized the top wing and the bottom wing.
Yeah, the strut that goes between the two.
And that's where pretty much I put the lead out, or at least the lead out guides for it.
Well, the thing is you're.
That would ring. Go ahead.
If your CG is marked on there, the old rule of thumb is if you run a line straight out to your wingtip, and then you take about 7/8 to 1 inch behind that line is where your center of your lead outs should start out at.
Yeah, but in the case of a biplane, the lead outs do not actually go to the wingtip. They usually end up on that spar that stabilizes
the strut. The strut goes from the bottom wing to the top wing. But it looks like
the lead outs will be essentially, you consider them as straight out through that strut, straight out to the wingtip, because there's going to be very little bowing effect that close to where it's supported. So you'll use the wingtips as a reference point, and like I say, 7/8 inch behind the CG.
Here it is. Here it is, guys. Check it out. I found it. Just a second. Hang on. There's the strut. There's the lead out guide. See, the lead out guide is bolted to the strut, and then the lead outs come out about an inch in front of the strut, a half inch for the the one lead out and about 1.5 inches for the other one.
I see that.
And
Okay.
Yep.
if I'm not mistaken, that will probably wind up right about where I said it would.
That's pretty close.
I
Yeah, John.
usually use a 1/2 inch.
Well, the old rule of thumb
Yeah,
was
so a
actually
1/2 inch.
lay your thumb down there and take your thumb width.
Yeah. That's about right.
My
1/2 inch.
my thumb's all pretty fat. It's kind of like my head, so I don't think I'd want to use that.
No, the worst part is my thumb doesn't have any fingerprints on it because it got burnt one time.
Well, the thing is, and that is just a beginning location for your CG, for your lead out position. You're gonna play with it going back and going forward to adjust the way it's trimmed.
Yeah, I usually start with about a 1/2 inch of trail on the lead outs.
I shouldn't have taken this plan out. Now I want to build the darn thing.
Yeah, that's actually, Dixon drew the plan, but it's actually based on the Dancing Girl out of England.
Okay. Wow. A buddy of mine built one many years ago here in Canada, and you know what? That darn little airplane flew amazingly. Do the whole pattern.
I got beat in an intermediate by a guy flying
I
one.
believe it. I believe it.
And he had a pipe on it, of all things, too.
Oh, wow.
I've never flown a control line biplane that was worth a darn.
Well,
no, you mean you never built one that flew worth a darn? Let's get it straight.
No, actually, I've never built a
the 38 Special is a good flying
control line biplane. My dad did, and it didn't fly for beans. It was terrible.
The 38 Special is a good one.
Yeah, it's a good airplane. It's a really good airplane. Yeah, no doubt about it. If you ever get a chance, build one. It's a good little airplane.
Yeah.
All right.
I flew a Sterling Fokker D7 for 17 years. And you know what? That darn thing, I could fly it inverted and do insides, outsides, wing overs. That thing flew amazing with a Fox 35.
How did you carry enough gas to fly that thing for 17 years?
He had a truck.
Hey, he has the record.
Hey, eat a lot of beans.
Some of those old planes for what do they call it when you're flying for as long as you can go?
Endurance.
Some of those planes, there's actually one that held it for a long time. Was out of Minneapolis, or not Milwaukee.
Right.
They had a can of fuel that was strapped onto the guy.
Yeah.
And they had the fuel line went up and it was taped his arm and went out the line.
Yeah.
And the centrifugal force kept the tank full, while he's flying. And he'd get low on that. While he's flying, they'd pour some more fuel in that can.
Yeah.
Well,
I think he had like 16 or 18 hours or something like that.
I have the Canadian record, but we're not allowed to do that. You have to carry your fuel here. And there was a maximum.
You have the same rule applies now, but this is back in the day,
Yeah, back in the day, you could do whatever you wanted. Can you imagine being out there for 16 hours flying a control line model? Oh, my Lord.
Yeah.
Can you
imagine the engine? I think the engine melted down on the one they had.
I'll bet it did, eventually.
Oh,
I tell you, I melted down on the one I did. It went for 3 hours and 27 minutes, and I was a wreck after.
Oh, yeah. I built the Sheik's stagger wing beach, and I found that to be a very good stunner.
Well, what I was just the reason I pulled this up is
that's
you can actually see where the bell crankings and how they pull out the actual control lines, and that's what I was trying to that me and Len were trying to get across is where the actual lead outs end up.
Yeah, the exits. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're right. You can end them back there, but you're still, if you're going to do it right, you need to figure through the wingtips, because whatever you got connected on there is going to be going straight out, more or less, to the wingtips, and so that's a good, easy place to measure to, is at the wingtip. You could do it at the strut, but
ultimately, John, you have to do it with the strut because that's the only place where you can actually attach any kind of lead out guide.
Well, no, yeah, you're right. But when you're laying out your lines on your piece of paper or on the computer screen, you can run them right through there. You can pick them up easily, pick them up to the strut, and make them come right out through the strut. I actually did mine. I cut it back a little bit in there, so I go a little bit further aft if I wanted to than what they were showing on the 38 special.
No,
I like.
Okay.
it would depend on the airplane, but it's just the general architecture that I was trying to illustrate.
Right, right. The thing is a lot of people fly biplanes and they got a lousy glide for the most part. When the motor's out, and I don't know what both the stagger wing beach that I did and my two bits have got an excellent glide after the power is out.
That's awesome.
Did you ever figure out why it's so snappy on the back of the square?
Well, I'm thinking one, I might have had too long of lines on it. Two,
I'm thinking you have your lead outs too far back.
I'm not sure on that, but I'm going to this next season. I'm going to take it out and play with it some more. I've got this thinking going back in my mind. I used to think I didn't have enough rudder, but I believe I've got enough rudder. I think it has to do with the lines were, it was almost 70 foot, the center of the handle, the center of the airplane.
Oh, that's long.
Yeah.
And that's long, and I think that's what my problem was. But we'll figure it out. The plane did beautiful rounds, insides and outsides. Level flight was gorgeous.
Yeah, but on the hard pullouts, it would yaw, right?
Yeah, it would, and it was only on that last one. But you see, it was scuffing off speed through the square.
Yeah,
And
this is true.
and it scuffed off speed. It started getting closer to a stall. And so what I need to do is shorten the lines up and try to maintain some of that speed.
That makes sense.
And the other thing, if that doesn't work, I'll take the Stalker 81 out of it and put a 3530 electric motor in it and fly it that way. Because if I put the controller on it, that'll keep the power right there where I need it, especially in that last corner. And so I shouldn't scuff off the speed and have it come up wanting on that last corner.
Well, what I'm looking at doing right now, speaking of electric motors, is after I rebuild my Nobler, I'm thinking about putting my 480 can motor in it.
Oh yeah? Tell me a little about it.
What's that?
Tell me a little about it.
Well, it's an old multiplex 480 brushless can motor, and I've got a prop adapter for it. It's on a 3/8, or no, it's on a 1/4 inch. So I could just put a regular 10.6 on it, or 10.5, 10.4, whatever I need. And I was going to put that in with a 3-cell and some kind of speed control, whichever I can find. I mean, I'm just going to search online and figure out what I can get. And try to run the 480 with a Nobler. I think it'd be a pretty good match.
It might be. I'm not familiar with the 480. Is that the diameter of the can or what?
Well, 480 is the old school measurements. That's before they came up with all the 3521s and all that other stuff.
Okay.
And a 480 is about, you remember back in the old days, there was a motor called an 05.
Yeah.
Brush motor. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, a 480 is about the same size as an 05. Can, length, the whole bit. But it's got about 8 times more power than an 05.
Oh yeah, it would.
And if I throw that thing into the Nobler, with a 3 or maybe even a 4 cell. I'm not sure.
I'd look at a 4 cell. Always
think
nice to have a
so?
little bit extra. Right, Tom?
Well, as tail heavy as my Nobler is, I'll probably put a 6 cell in it just to balance it. My Nobler weighs with a Fox 35 in my Nobler, it balances about 2 inches ahead of the trailing edge.
Wow.
So it's like really tail heavy.
Yeah, but I'd say you want to go with the bigger battery and have enough room up there to keep it up and balance it out with the battery.
So if I go with a can motor and a 6 cell, it should be about right, because a 6 cell weighs about 3 times more than a full 4-ounce fuel tank.
Yeah, the thing is, you might want to consider
Okay.
if you're running basically a classic motor or over the hill motor or whatever you want to call it.
It's a dinosaur.
But if you run a good timer and a good ESC and all that, if you go more modern on that, it won't matter very much that you run a dinosaur motor.
Okay.
So I wouldn't just try to find somebody's junk. I would look on there and make a search and come up with a good ESC and a good timer, and yeah, that's how I'd go.
What's the KV rating on that 480? You said it's brushless, right?
It's a brushless 480, but it's a can motor. It's not an outrunner. It's an internal motor.
Yeah. Do you know what the KV rating is?
I have no clue.
Because that would determine, your number of cells and the prop size.
Well, I'll pull the motor out of my pit special, because right now I got it in a 21-inch pit special that used to be radio control, but now it's hit the ground so many times it doesn't fly.
You know that an electric situation, for the most part, one of the cheapest parts in there is the motor.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be a bad idea to, if you've got a Nobler, a 2820 would handle a Nobler very well, I think.
I have a 3020.
3020 would be fine.
I have a 3020 outrunner.
Yeah, that'd be more than enough. Don't you think, Tom?
Yes.
My Nobler is pretty heavy, though.
How much does it weigh?
51 ounces.
It'll handle it.
40.
It'll handle it.
51 with a Fox 40 in it.
Well,
with a Fox 35, it's down around 47, 48.
Well, the best flying Noblers, according to Aldrich, were around 44 ounces.
Oh, right there. Shit.
Your sound's off there, Len.
You're muted, Len.
Yeah, I'll have to build another Nobler then.
Yeah, my Nobler's around 43 and flies absolutely outstanding at 43 ounces. One of the best flying planes I've ever built with a Fox 35. Fox 35. It's just outstanding. I can't say enough about it.
Nice. I
think I finished 13th at Brodax last year with it in CLPA.
Nice.
That's pretty good airplane.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
There you go. You might want to just retire that old Nobler there and scratch build you a new one, or get a kit and build it.
I'm not building another one of those Nobler kits ever. That Brodak Nobler just about put me under.
Brodak Nobler is a pain in the ass.
5 pounds of balsa, and you carve 3.5 pounds of it onto the floor. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Did you
Get your
did you
set of
have to
plans and
even,
scratch build it then.
Oh,
did you have to even up the flaps? Because on mine,
no, I built it right to the kit. Did
you
it
know,
exactly like the kit.
on mine, the inboard flap is about a 1/4 inch wider than the outboard flap.
Yeah, I don't know. I just built it as per the whatever the kit was. I didn't change anything.
Yeah, mine, I trimmed a ton of stuff off of mine.
But I got to tell you, that thing flew outstanding, better than most airplanes I've ever built. I'm shocked how well it flies.
Wow. Well, I love
Well,
Novers. That's always
Yeah.
good to hear.
the biggest problem with mine is it's got 5 paint jobs on it.
That's what?
5 paint jobs.
5 paint jobs. That'll kill it. That'll give it weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it pretty much put it in the dungeon.
That's what happened to my 90 ship. It has 5 paint jobs, but it was all done at once.
Wow. $175 for this kit, huh?
I don't think so.
Well, it says no interest if you pay in
Super
full in 6 months,
prefabricated.
man.
Super prefabricated,
It's probably so old. I bet it's worth about $1.75.
probably.
Hey, I'm just curious. I see that some biplanes, the top wing is behind the bottom wing, and sometimes the top wing is in front.
Yeah.
Now, on a real aircraft, I can see the advantage for the pilot to see if the top wing is behind. But what's the difference?
You just nailed it.
All right.
You hit one right, Charles. You hit one right.
Right out of the park.
Right out of the park, buddy.
It also, there was another reason I forget. I don't know whether it had to do with the aerodynamics were a little bit better. But that's why it was called Stagger Wing Beach, was because it was reverse stagger. Most of them were called positive stagger. The upper wing is forward.
Yeah, most of them are.
And you know, some the upper wing will be kind of V-shaped. In other words, it'll have tapered. The leading edge will taper this way, trailing edge will taper back in, but the bottom wing will be straight.
Like a
Sometimes
pit
they'll
special.
both be tapered.
Like a pit special.
Yeah.
But
But
then what's that RC one? It's called an Ultimate, I guess it is, with the flat wing tips.
one I was always interested in and would be interested in trying out, should I ever do another biplane, would be not the tailwind. It was a home built.
There's a pit.
What is that? That's pretty.
That's my RC
Maybe
plane.
it's-
That's a pit special.
I like
They
that.
had
And the spinner, Tom. Love that.
That looks sharp. I like the color too.
Yeah.
Yeah, get Denny.
Yeah, send that to Denny and ask him where he's been. We're missing him. Where has Denny been? We haven't seen him for a while.
I know. I'm curious myself.
Yeah, I was laughing the day when Denny, I was showing my junkyard dog when Denny was here. And he goes, "What color are you going to paint it?" I go, "Green."
there's a design from the EAA called the Whitman Tailwind. I don't know if that's the biplane version or the parasol wing version, but they have a biplane version of that, and it's a reverse stagger, and it's an interesting airplane. I'd be interested in doing that as a biplane for stunt.
Oh yeah. Has anybody talked to Denny?
No, I haven't. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe I'll try to reach him somehow. See what's going on. You know, he's probably involved with his grandkids, with school starting and everything. I bet you that's part of it.
Yeah, that's probably a part of it.
Oh, Danny's always got a ton of stuff going on.
Oh yeah,
You guys
he's a
remember
busy
that one?
guy.
Remember that one biplane by PJ Rowland, the guy from Australia?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I remember him flying it. I saw a video of him flying it, but I know don't know what's going on with him.
He got married and he's kind of been busy.
Oh yeah,
That'll do it.
that'll definitely do it.
I
How
did
about
that twice.
Rusty? Is Rusty still on vacation or?
I haven't spoken to Rusty. I thought that we had talked about um, probably next week. I think he'll return. I think I don't know. But I was going to cover these nights that I have so far.
See that one right there? The guy's got his hand on. Oh, back up a minute there, Peter.
Yeah, that blue and yellow one.
That is the London Mail special. That was actually a warbird. It was used. It was the embassy aircraft that was used to ferry people around during World War II, and that it had the London. It had basically I patterned the one I built, the Sheik's version, with the same colors, same layout, because it was a bona fide warbird. That little white circle there, if you look at a dollar bill, turn it over and look at the Great Seal of the United States, that's what that is.
Huh.
I call that a PT-19 biplane.
That's what I was thinking. It reminds me of a PT-19. Yeah.
That's right. Anybody still got a PT-19?
No, I gave mine to my cousin. His daughter was about 10 years old. I thought that he might get her flying, but and that's never happened of it.
I had 2 of them gifted to me this summer.
Nice.
Yeah, they fly okay, actually. Believe it or not, they actually fly not too bad.
Wow.
Oh, there was the version that the red one with the big pant type things on it. That was the earlier version that didn't have the retractable gear on it. See, all of these have. See how that piece folded up out of the way so that the gear could hit the ground.
Cool.
But they had one originally that had like pants on it, like a GB, and it didn't. They didn't retract.
I like the look of the airplane.
It's a beautiful airplane.
No
Very
doubt about
fast, very fast for its era. Very. It was just a beautiful airplane, beautiful flying. Chris McMillan, who is sometimes on here, used to be on Stuka Stunt too. Chris McMillan used to fly one of those.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, it's like if I was going to own any airplane from any era, that's the one I would own.
Oh yeah, yeah. I used to know a lake up in Alaska there's one of these that were on floats that had sunk in there in that cold fresh water. And as a diver, a fellow wanted me and a couple other guys go up there and try to raise that airplane up and salvage it. Never happened.
Wow.
That airplane always reminded me of a Bugs Bunny cartoon. It's a great airplane in there. I mean, I know they're fast, but it always kind of reminded me of something you'd see Bugs Bunny flying.
Yeah.
To run away from Elmer Fudd.
Or Wile E. Coyote. Oh no, he wasn't Wile E. Coyote.
Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah.
So, you know, my last name is Riley, right?
Right.
A lot of friends of mine call me Riley Coyote.
Riley Coyote.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you that
There you go, John.
is a beautiful airplane, and the Jack Sheik's version
Yeah, there you go.
is not nearly as scale as that one is. It's more flat-sided and a bunch of it, but it gets the flavor across. It, like I said, mine flew the whole pattern really well, and
Really?
Yeah, and actually, for a biplane, and it actually would glide. I could get 1.5 to 2 laps of glide after the power went out.
I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard to make a profile either.
No, it's not.
It looks pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Well, that little SIG one, that little half-A version is a profile.
But I'm talking like maybe say a 35 size or something like that.
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard.
Put
It
a
would be
Fox
pretty.
in it.
Yeah, or a Fox for sure.
The full scale had a radial engine and very expensive to maintain.
Yeah.
There's your presidential seal there, right there, John.
No, that's not the president. That's the Great Seal of the United States.
Okay.
And right underneath it there, it says London Embassy. And there was
Yeah, this says, let me see, American Embassy, London. Yes.
Yeah, let's
And
let's not get political now.
And there's some other writing that they don't have on this one that was on there too.
I think it's interesting the way they got the flaps on the low wing and the ailerons on the high wing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey, John, I got a question for you. Speaking of box fuselage versus rounded fuselage, which one actually works better?
Well, how fast do you want to build it?
I don't care.
Well, a box one is easier to build and builds faster.
Yeah.
The rounder one, like, for instance, like if you're planning on building like a one of
No, I'm
Raby's
not building a Bearcat.
A Raby jig thing, yeah.
that to get a good straight round one, you have to jig up quite a bit.
Well, if I was going to build something, well, you've seen my junkyard dog. You know what it is.
Right.
If I were to take, instead of making the 1/8 size flat, if I were to round them off a little bit, would that make a big difference?
Oh yeah, it's much stronger. You could probably drop down to 3/32 balsa because
Really?
because that curve, it's like strengthens it. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
So I could actually build it lighter.
Yeah.
Because right now my plane with a motor, a tank, everything but covering and paint, it's 24 ounces.
But you could hit 30, 32 ounces easy with that.
It's 24. It's got a Fox 35 in it, and I need to build at least a 3.5 ounce fuel tank for it.
I would go with a 40 just in case you found out that the problem with fuel tanks is they're going up or down in elevation. Now you can't go much further down than where you're at.
Okay, so 4x2 with a standard wedge is going to be a 4 ounce tank, right?
Right.
Because it's 1 7/8 per ounce per inch.
Right.
Right.
So 2 with a wedge in it's going to be roughly 1 7/8. So if I build a 4-inch tank, it'll still go in there.
1 inch thick.
1 inch thick. What about venting? Is that horseshoe venting any good?
Well, yeah, it is.
Or should I just go straight out the top?
I wouldn't mess around. I'd go Uniflow myself.
Uniflow.
Well, no, it's definitely going to be Uniflow. But if I do that, it's like, I don't know if you've seen John Jordan's Nobler, where the vent and the overflow come down, bend outside the airplane, come up, and then horseshoe forward.
Yeah. I don't do that. I come out the side and then go forward from there. I don't like to come down and then back up. So like I say,
basically keep the tubing as short as possible.
Right. I'll actually go through the motor mount, drill a hole through the motor mount.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
Right, and then I'll put I'll put a larger piece of like 3/16 inch tubing through there, and then I'll put 1/8 through there, and I can hit it with some CA, and it'll lock it into place.
Exactly.
And then
That's a good idea.
I can have that one bent forward into the
Into the airstream.
right, and then when you got using Uniflow, you hook the Uniflow up, and then you take your overflow and your fill, and you just put a piece of tubing on it. Just put a piece of tubing on it so that it's just connected, so there's no outside air getting in except through the Uniflow.
I use a line clip on my overflow,
Mm-hmm.
so I can just run a hose out the bottom, and then once it's full and it's overflowing, I just slide it forward into the line clip and pinch it like a combat motor.
Yeah, I did. I've done that as well. And whatever way works best for you. There's
A dozen ways to do it.
yeah, I've had guys tell me they just absolutely do not want to use a Uniflow. They've never had any good luck with it, and so they go to the old standard over, up and down.
Straight up and down, yeah.
And the problem is halfway through you're gaining speed and gaining speed.
Yeah, it keeps picking up and right to the end.
I don't mind the up and down bent with like the old Fox 15 angle plug or an old McCoy 35. They seem to pick up speed at the end, but with a McCoy 35, nobody really cares because they're never going to pick up that much speed.
Oh, contraire. But the thing is,
my McCoys.
Whatever you're comfortable with, that's what you want to do. Myself.
When you build a metal tank and you run a Uniflow, how far do you stop it ahead of the fuel pickup? About 3/8 roughly.
I do a quarter.
I actually go. I've gone as far as halfway down the tank.
Really?
Yeah, because think about it.
Okay.
If you got it soldered to the outside of your pickup line, how deep does the fuel have to be for it to still be submerged? But if you run it halfway up the side of the tank and put
That's
it right,
true, almost.
You actually got a better setup. Hello, wake up.
I'm not sure how the bubbles really make a difference in the run because.
Well, just start sucking some bubbles up into your intake line and see what it does to your run.
It's gonna lean out your mixture big time.
Yep.
So you're better off running your Uniflow short.
Within reason.
Yeah, because your fuel's getting pushed to the outside anyway, into that wedge.
And normally it's to the back, hopefully.
But it's pushed to the outside, so it doesn't get right to the back until right near the end.
And see, I'm a big proponent of RC plastic clunk tanks.
I've never had good luck with those, and I refuse to buy them.
Me too, Jeff. I struggle with them. Can't make them work very well.
That's probably because you're not doing it right.
I've done well.
Probably true.
No, you know what?
How are you
an old
hooking?
Dog, and I don't want to learn no new tricks.
No, I know, but let me ask you a question.
I'm willing.
When you've used RC type tanks, how are you hooking your Uniflow up?
My Uniflow ran straight in to the outside about 2/3 of the way back down the tank. My pickup was on the clunk in the back, somewhere where it would flow freely.
Mm-hmm.
At the back.
My overflow ran up into the little bubble in the top.
Well, that's good. How about you, Lynn?
I can't say because I haven't run enough of them.
Okay. The problem that a lot of people have is they try to set up an RC clunk tank as a Uniflow.
Okay.
They want to tie the Uniflow to the pickup, to the clunk. So that they're both going up and down.
Never do it again.
And when
Okay.
you do that, how do you, with an RC clunk tank, how do you adjust the height of the tank? You
Yeah, you
raise,
can't.
or lower the uniflow.
Okay.
That's why,
If you lower the uniflow, you're raising the tank. If you raise
right.
the uniflow, you're lowering the tank.
And
Right.
you have yours set up so you just turn that. You showed me. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, but if you go back and you tie the uniflow to the clunk, to the pickup, now when it's flopping up and down, what's happening to your uniflow?
Now you're pretty much locked in to where you pretty much have no tank adjustment.
Well, now you do not have no tank adjustment, but every time that clunk goes up to here, you just change the height of your tank.
And every time it drops down,
You've changed the
you
height
change
again.
it again.
So you want your uniflow to stay in one location.
So just make the uniflow out of a brass tube alone.
If
I
you
would
got
use
my,
copper. I would use copper because brass won't take the vibration.
Okay, okay. Yeah, all right. But solid tube.
you got a copy, you made a copy of my chart on that. Okay.
Yeah,
And the thing is you come in on the, your clunk tank has 3 holes in it.
right.
2 are open, 1 isn't. You open the 3rd hole. And you set up with a triangle so that you got the 2 base on the bottom and the overflow is on the top. Now you,
Okay.
from the outside one, looking at the front of the tank, the outside one is the one on the extreme left. That's your uniflow. And that
Okay.
goes in, makes a bend, and goes to the middle, to the middle-ish area of the tank.
But to the outside.
That's to the outside.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, on the other
where,
line,
where do you set the tank in relationship to the venturi? Say on a profile, where do you set the tank up and down in relationship to the venturi?
I try to center it. Now,
Okay.
using like inside of a full fuselage, a lot of guys come in and they, there you go. A lot of guys come in and they try to, they'll
There it is.
get rid of weight on the motor mount by cutting them down and right behind the firewall, cutting them down to, instead of a half-inch thick or 3/8 inch thick, cut it down to 3/16. And that's fine. Now that gives you, that takes off some weight. But if you also come to the underside and you cut that down to 3/16 and you run your motor mounts back, you're still stiffening up the front of the nose. But now you can set that RC clunk tank up in there a little bit higher in there so you can get closer to center. All right. So you start off with it. You try to center the uniflow on the same line equal to your needle valve assembly.
I don't know. I can just never get a clunk tank to run.
That's all I've used for 25 years.
I can just never get them to run. I've always run a wedge.
Well, and that's fine. I mean, listen, there's 10 different ways of doing everything. For me, I appreciate a good uniflow tank. And the best uniflow tanks I have come across is what you're seeing on the screen right there.
And I want to be able to run a uniflow either in plastic like that or with a metal tank. And now I'm learning how to do it.
Hey,
The
Len,
uniflow, the plastic clunk tank is lighter than your metal tank.
Most definitely.
Len, do you know how to solder?
Most definitely.
So you have like a soldering rod and you know how to burn in the lead and all that shit.
I've made more tanks than I want to remember. But you know what? I will say the one thing is the plastic tank, if it's lighter and I can put it together in 15 minutes, I'm going to figure out how to make it work.
This does make this inviting.
Most definitely.
The thing of it is,
I'm going to try it again.
the thing of it is that when you finally figure out how to do it, and I've tried to put on here, enough information that you can get a good start on it. I use a centered bronze pickup. I get rid of the old brass one, the chrome brass one that comes with the tank. I
Right.
get rid of that.
Yeah.
I use sintered bronze. That way my fuel is always being filtered.
Well, not only that, nitromethane eats chrome like there's no tomorrow.
Right. Plus, I also use a sintered bronze filter like that at the bottom at the bottom of my fuel can. So when I suck it
That's a
through,
good
I'm
idea.
filtering at that time. So it gets filtered
Where do you
twice.
get those?
You can get them at the hobby store. They're
Yeah,
made by
Okay.
okay,
Center, they're made by Dubro? Okay.
yeah,
Dubro center bronze filter.
sintered, Sintered.
Oh, centered. Okay.
Okay.
Centered. Okay.
Now, there's one thing that's not in here, but it's a little hint I'll give you. Anywhere where you've got the tubing coming there where it's going to be next to your plastic and you don't want it to wear a hole from vibration or anything, you
Yeah.
can put a short piece of fuel line tubing on there just to keep it so that it's cut your hard tubing a little short and put the fuel tubing on there to come up to the wall. That way you won't be punching holes in the wall.
That makes sense.
Plus, you can do that on your overflow line as well. Now,
Cool.
here's the thing: the difference between the RC plastic clunk tank and the metal clunk tank is you have to physically raise and lower the metal tank to adjust
Right.
for your engine run.
Right.
This you just turn your uniflow.
Right.
That essentially raises and lowers the tank. So once you get it in place, that's it. You don't have to worry about it.
So if it runs too fast inverted or too slow inverted, you just raise or lower it to get it where you want it.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
if you tip your unit, if you raise the uniflow inside the tank, you're effectively lowering your tank.
Exactly.
And
And like I say, I have been using these ever since it was Alan Brickhouse took me aside at a contest. I think it was SIG contest back in the 80s. And he showed me he showed me how he did it. And I started doing it based on what he showed me. And then I changed a few things to try to make it a little better. I hopefully did. But that's all I've been using since then. I have not, except one time. One time I used a wooden or a metal tank on an Excalibur just because it looked cool having it in there. But I had to make arrangements in there to be able to raise and lower
Raise
that.
and lower the whole tank. Exactly.
Right.
Hey, John, I have a question, John.
Yeah.
Peter, could you put that image back up, please? I'd like to ask John a question.
That was me that put it up.
Oh, thank you, Tom. So, John, when you have a
And this is, by the way, this is John's image. John's the author of this image.
It is a good image.
Yeah, it's a very good image. So John, if you have a built-up ship, so when you install the tank, the orientation is what? I mean, so would you have the plane upside down and then you put the tank in just like you show here?
No, you're looking right at the front of the tank as it would sit inside your space for your tank.
With your landing gear down.
Well, the landing gear has nothing to do. This is right behind the engine.
If you're looking at the airplane, you're looking.
So the overflow is going to be.
up.
But when you put the plane up, okay, so you're filling it up.
You're filling through the uniflow.
All right. All right. Okay.
So at the tank where it is right now, you're looking at it as if the plane is on its wheels. Is that right?
Exactly right.
Exactly. Okay.
Landing gear down.
Landing gear down.
All right.
Overflow to the top.
Overflow to the top, upper right-hand corner.
Okay, does the tank sit with the pickup even with the venturi or the needle valve? Or the center line even with the needle valve?
You want the center line of the tubing to be equal. That center line that's shown there is just for the screw that tightens up that cap.
The center line of the pickup goes level with the needle valve.
See where the holes are, those two bottom holes?
Yes.
The center line of that uniflow hole is at the center line of your needle valve assembly.
Okay, so
Okay.
you're gonna have to do some cutting on your engine
Motor
mounts.
mounts.
Well, I told you what I do on the engine mounts. I come up and take it off the bottom of the engine mounts. I take off 3/16 of an inch here.
That
I get,
makes perfect sense. That makes sense.
and that way it's,
Then you raise it. Then you raise it lower by moving your unit.
Well, hold on. Can't you just turn the Uniflow thing to adjust it?
well, you
Yes.
can, but I like to try to get it as close to center to begin with. You know,
Okay.
most people take weight off of their motor mounts by
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
shaving them. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I get it.
we're shaving them from the bottom.
Okay.
So you're
Okay.
shaving
So
3/16 off the bottom of them. Is that right?
Right,
Okay. And then putting the tank right up against it. Okay.
right. And then I put a little floor underneath there that holds the tank there, and so it doesn't go up or down or move. And that's I haven't had to worry about it going forward or backwards.
Okay. So John, in a build-up, when you have to adjust your Uniflow, do you run just a 90-degree bend out to a piece of flexible tube and then an intake outside the airplane?
You need to fill it.
No. So you can still adjust your Uniflow. Because if
Oh,
you run a hard pipe out the side of the airplane, you ain't adjusting the Uniflow.
no. What I do, you see that little bend there? It might not be as sharp as that, but I have a little bend there. So I can get in there with my fingers or with a needle nose pliers and grab hold of it and twist it inside.
Yeah.
That little
That goes to a flexible piece of tubing, which goes to a piece of brass, which exits your airplane.
Yeah,
Well, that actually goes to my muffler pressure.
Okay. But it
You
has
run
to exit
muffler
the
pressure
airplane
on a
somewhere.
Uniflow?
You betcha, it really makes them run good.
Wow, I never heard of that. I mean, I've heard of it, but I've never done it.
Well, that might be why you've had troubles with it.
That could be.
You know,
I've never run muffler pressure into a Uniflow because I've always had good luck just with atmosphere.
Well, the thing is,
So have I, Jeff, but I'm going to try the other.
the thing
You know
is
what? I
with
think I am
atmosphere,
too.
the thing with atmosphere, Jeff, is this: it's a windy day. You know, you got maybe the contest is going on, and you got maybe 10 to 15 mile an hour wind or more.
Okay.
So now you come around, you're coming into the wind. Now you're going atmosphere. What happens
Now
to
you're
your
going
tank?
rich.
You're gonna go rich. Now you get around, and now you're going downwind. What happens to your run?
Well, not
Goes
only does the
lean.
airplane speed up, it leans out.
Okay. Now if you put Uniflow on it, what happens when you come into the wind?
You go rich.
Nothing.
Now, if you put muffler pressure on it,
Yep.
Becomes even because it never changes.
well, if you put muffler pressure on it, the only thing that happens when you come in the wind is you lose
Nothing.
a little bit of ground speed because the air is now moving past your airplane.
Sure, because you're going to be flying 55 miles an hour, and if you got a 20-mile-an-hour wind, all of a
You're
sudden now
slow
you're
down to 35.
right. And when you go downwind, you're going to do 55 plus 20. You're doing 75 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So the thing is, though, but as far as your engine run stays constant.
Steady.
Upwind, downwind, crosswind, it stays
well,
the same.
Here's one of my issues. I run Fox 35s, and they do not like muffler pressure.
They don't like mufflers either.
They don't. You know what? I found I beg to differ on that one because I bought one of Adamison's big art mufflers from Brodak,
thanks, Tom.
and my Fox. I got a Fox from Sparky that's got some ABC. It's some special Fox that Sparky's buddy built.
Okay.
And it runs unbelievable on a tongue muffler.
Okay.
But every other Fox I have, I put that tongue muffler on it, you might as well just throw it in the concrete and jump up and down on it because it ain't gonna run.
Well, the other thing, if you're running an engine that you can't run muffler pressure to, then bring your Uniflow out, raise it up a little bit so that it's not going to siphon out while it's sitting on the ground. Raise it up and terminate it inside the cowl, so it's not out in the atmosphere, in the airstream. Right. So
Just
you're
leave it on ambient.
getting it in unaffected air.
Okay.
Okay. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I've seen that before. Where a guy put a little on the with the engine mounts. He actually put a brass that holds the pipe inside there, so all it gets is the prop blast the whole time. And so whether it goes inside the wind or not, it's the same kind of
Oh, that's a good idea.
And he
Yep.
just put a little brass tab on. So one of the four screws is holding this brass tab that has a pipe soldered onto it, and it's right there, and it's just getting the prop blast constantly.
But for me and for my plane,
Your house.
I will use buffer pressure.
You know, the worst part about it is everybody says it's only an 1/8-inch tube. What difference is it going to make?
A lot.
It does.
About a mountain's
feel it.
worth. I mean, it makes a ton of difference as to whether you're into the wind, out of the wind, up too high, down too low.
Yep.
I mean, it makes a lot of difference.
Most people that have trouble with uniflows, you can get back to a couple of areas. One, where's their uniflow terminated at?
Where another guest coming in looks like.
Okay, and Len, you use 1/4 inch, right?
What?
1/4 inch what?
For stopping your uniflow before the pickup?
Yes, I use a 1/4 inch.
1/4 inch. I use 3/8.
Okay. I think 3/8 is probably better now after listening to this conversation.
Well, I'm really not sure. Now I'm thinking about like 3/4.
Well, I think if you just make sure you're out of the pickup area, I think you're okay. If you get a little further out of the pickup area, I think it's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
I think the whole reason you want the air pressure going in to bubble the fuel.
Guys used to think they had to be as close to that corner as possible, and I don't think now that you do need to be. I think you just need to be out of the pickup.
Exactly. You can be at the halfway point of the tank.
Yeah, I think you're right. I agree.
You know what, Len? I'm going to build another tank, another wedge, and I'm going to stop it. I'm going to use 5/8 this time.
Okay, I bet you it'll work fantastic.
And it's going to be on a Fox 35, single uniflow, standard, but I'm not going to use the horseshoe pipes. I'm going to do something different.
Okay, well, try it. See what it does. I'd be interested in hearing.
I'll try 5/8 with this one and see how it works.
I bet it'll work just fine.
What do you think, John?
Well, where are you going to hook the uniflow up? You going to have it soldered to the pickup line?
My uniflow is going to be a solid tube. It'll be soldered to the pickup. Stop
5/8 forward.
Roughly 5/8 short of the fuel pickup.
So will it be on the outside of the pickup line toward the center of the tank?
Dead even inside, right next to the pickup.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Right in the wedge.
This is a metal tank he's talking about.
I understand.
Yeah.
So see, what I would do is I would actually if I was building it, I would bring the uniflow in, and I would bring it about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of the 4-inch long tank, and I would solder that to the inside of the sharpest point of the wedge. That way
that would be right next to the pickup tube.
Well, no, because you got to realize that fuel is filling that whole wedge almost to the very front when it's running.
But I have to run my pickup tube straight.
Yeah, the pickup tube has to go straight from that corner all the way to the front. There's nowhere to put the other tube.
But you can put the pickup. You can do the pickup a little inside and bring it in at an angle to that corner.
Well, you could. Now it's getting complicated, but yeah, you could.
That's
not a bad idea.
Okay.
Put a little S bend in it, and then run the uniflow to the outside.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Okay.
That might make that. You know what? That might work.
So you have the uniflow and the pickup at the same height?
Well,
Yeah.
In the
yeah.
back of the tank, yes.
The thing is you try to visualize looking down on it from above on the top of that tank,
Okay.
and try to visualize the fuel, the centrifugal force acting on the fuel load in flight.
It's
You're
going
not
to
worried about it
the
until you get down
wedge.
to almost empty. And then
That's
when it's
right.
almost empty, where's that fuel going to be? It's going to be
Hopefully in the
Right
back.
at the outside.
it's going to be right at the outside, and it might be a little more right at the very end, but there'll be plenty up where that uniflow is, and your uniflow is going to uncover at some point. That lets you know you're almost out of fuel.
I like that. You don't want to have a tank that gives you no warning and the engine just stops. You never want to have that
Oh,
because
that's
it's very
always
frustrating.
on flight.
Oh
Right.
yeah,
That's
because
how
you're
my
going along and you're
future
flying, you think, oh, I got a bit of time left. Uh-oh, I didn't. Now it
Yeah.
quit upside down and there goes, oh no,
So
I
you
don't
do
like
a
that deal.
consecutive,
Yeah,
you do a
my
consecutive
future
triangle
like that.
with the point down to unwind your line, and if you're coming down it, the motor dies.
Oh yeah, it's over. Yeah, here comes
Yeah,
the inverted landing, and if you're over pavement, well, your day's ruined.
yeah. Now the thing is again, I go back to what I like is the plastic RC tank,
Yeah, you
because
don't have to deal with any of this.
all
I
of this,
get it.
all of this is inherent. It's set up in the design to work. But if you really have to have a metal tank, if you like it, there are ways of doing it, and we just talked about what I believe would be a very good way to do it.
So you're saying a S-band, the feed tube, so I can sneak the Uniflow in
Uniflow over to the edge. Exactly.
Yeah,
outside the tank, out on the very outside corner of the wedge.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
I'm confused.
Okay.
Well, you could also bring your Uniflow along the top and dive it in instead of worried about. Uh, I myself, I like the idea of making your pickup about starting off at about a half inch inside the wedge at the front of the tank and just angle it back to the very corner. That way you got plenty of room to get your Uniflow in place behind it. There's probably a dozen different ways of doing it,
Oh, that makes perfect sense because then you can run the Uniflow back until it almost touches that pickup.
but you don't want it that far back.
No, you don't want it that far.
You don't want to be putting bubbles in it. That'll screw up your engine run.
Yeah, you don't want it too
Oh.
close.
You want it at least, in my opinion, at least an inch away from the back of the tank.
All right. Well, I've tried 3/8, and 3/8 seem to work pretty good. And I cut apart a Brodak tank that worked really good.
Yeah, you got there. Look at what Len's throwing up.
See, there it is. The one closer to the right is your pickup, or sorry, is your Uniflow, and it crosses over the other pipe and goes right into the wedge. The other one goes straight back and then goes over to the corner.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
So your long fitted pickup.
So your pickup isn't right in the corner at the until it gets to the corner.
Right.
Okay.
And neither is the other one, but they both go right to the edge of the tank that way.
They're both in that wedge, right?
And that keeps the air bubbles away from the pickup end.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you want to keep
this-
the air bubbles out of the.
Yeah, because this side of the tank here is where the wedge is, where it goes to a point, and you want them right in that point.
All right.
I'm with you now.
Okay.
Interesting.
Just
And
a thought.
You can, if you want, you can put an overflow on there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. The overflow you still have at the front
Your overflow
of your
can
tank.
go anywhere as long as it's in
Oh
the
yeah.
corner.
I usually put it up toward the front that way because your airplane usually when you're filling it is sitting on its wheels and it's tipped a little back to the tail wheel.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, having discussed the way to do it with the metal tank. Again, for me, the RC tank, it's lighter, it's easier to work with. In my opinion, it doesn't take as much time to build, and it will last and work. Mine worked, like I said, I haven't used anything else except one time.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one on a profile and I'm going to play with it for a while until I get it to work as good as the other, and then I can use it on any airplane.
There you
Try
go.
that. Hey,
That's
Len,
the secret.
Len,
Yeah.
try that adjustable
Uniflow for
Let me know
sure.
how
I'm
it
definitely
works.
going to try it. I'm going to definitely try that.
Let me know what you think of it.
I will for sure.
Yeah,
Because
I'd
I'm
appreciate
real
your.
interested in that.
I
Yeah,
know
I'm
how
gonna.
it works, but I would appreciate your comments after you try it and figure out.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try it and see how it goes. Okay, sounds great.
I'm gonna try the. I'm gonna do another wedge tank,
Okay.
and I'm gonna try that what John was talking about with moving the feed line over and putting the Uniflow in behind it.
Yeah, I think that'll work good too.
I think I'm gonna try that, and I'm gonna stop at about mid or 3/4 tank, so it's about an inch forward,
Yeah, that's good. At
and then
least
I'll
an inch
stop,
forward and see how it works.
and then
Yeah.
I'll stop my pickup about an eighth of an inch forward from the end cap.
Yeah, that's right. That's perfect. That's where it should be.
Tavender used to put a beveled edge.
Yeah, you can do that too. You can count. You can angle that back pipe if you
You
like
know
to.
what? I did that, and I had nothing but trouble with it.
Okay.
Okay.
All it did was run lean longer in the long run.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
That's all it did. It ran lean longer in the end of the flight.
Okay. Yeah, you don't need that
Because
either.
when you got that wedge on there at the end,
Yeah.
you're sucking more air than fuel for more time.
Yeah.
Good
At
point.
least when it's just the 1/8 inch pickup, fuel's gone like that.
So you want to be an 1/8 inch forward with just a straight pipe.
An
Straight
1/8
nine.
to 16 with a straight cut seemed to work best for me so
Okay.
far, but I've never tried that Uniflow outboard of the pickup too.
I think that sounds like a neat idea.
I've always ran mine like this.
Well, most
Where
people
it's
do run
the
it that way.
Uniflow.
Yeah. Most people do run it that way. That's the easy way to set it up. But think about it. Use some thought and skull out what you try to accomplish by using the Uniflow, and you'll find that you want that Uniflow to stay submerged as long as possible.
Well, the Uniflow, as far as I was taught, the Uniflow is to keep nothing more than about 10% more than atmosphere inside the tank.
Right. But when it uncovers, that changes, and then your engine run changes.
This is very true.
So what you do by moving it further out like that, it uncovers later. And so
then you're putting it in fuel until almost the end.
right. Did you have your hand up, Peter? Okay.
And another thing I've seen a lot of people do, a couple of friends of mine have brought planes over. Hey, I built this tank. What do you think? Looks good. Let's take a look at it. And their feed line is here. Let's see. I can't see my picture. There it is. Feed line is here. And Uniflow is here.
Yeah.
And that's like, come on, dude. Really? This is what you're going to do? Oh, it's all soldered to the edge. Doesn't matter. It ain't going to work.
Well,
So you want to
what I've seen is I've seen them take an RC type tank and they'll solder them like that to the clunk. And now both of them move up
Now
and
you
down.
got this going on.
Yeah.
Both of them move up and down, and it changes your engine run. And they'll say, "Oh, that doesn't work."
That's for sure.
I know when Sparky first built that first what is that thing he built?
Bonato?
No, the Tucker Special.
Okay.
He built a clunk tank and he soldered the Uniflow to the clunk. And I'm thinking, huh? Okay. Maybe he knows something I don't. And then I never heard another word about it. So I'm thinking it probably didn't work.
We'll have to ask them.
Is this the
Sometimes people
mother
get them to
tucker or
work.
the other one?
Sometimes people get them to work, and or to the point that they can live with it.
I don't know. Sparky's pretty picky about the way his airplanes fly.
Yeah, I tend to like optimum or close to it. That's what I'm aiming for. Optimum performance.
Sparky's pretty picky too, and if it's not perfect, he's gonna throw it away.
Let's try again. Yep. And that's the best way to be, really.
Well,
a lot of people have tied in on an RC tank, have tied them together, and they've got it to work a little bit. When you rotate it, it twists the pickup a little bit, so it does raise and lower it slightly. But it just it's fraught with problems. But
normally on an RC plane, you're running as lean as you possibly can without burning the motor. So a little bit of change in the venting is not going to make any difference.
Well, very few RC planes that I know of, unless something has changed, run Uniflow on their tanks. They run muffler pressure or pressure to their tank.
This is very true. Or crankcase.
Very few of them, if any at all, run Uniflow. We're the crazy guys that run Uniflow.
They're running a totally different
with
critter.
With RC, you don't really run the tank out of fuel either.
No, right. You're running a throttle as well. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you don't need what we need. What we need is something that governs our speed because of the fact that we don't have a throttle. We're trying to get a desired type of engine run through the whole 7 minutes.
Exactly. That's right. We want the engine to run at
I gotta fly 7 minutes.
We want the engine to run at a prescribed RPM, at a prescribed rate, all the way around the circle. And we want it, when it does quit, we want it to give us just a little bit of a warning and then quit clean.
Yeah.
We don't want much.
We don't want much. You know what? We're really easy to please. We know what we want.
Yeah.
Just give me what I want. I know what I want.
Yeah, come on. Like, give it a. Why does it have to be hard? Come on, it should be easy.
Well, like, I'm a man. I mean, I want it to fly like that,
Yeah.
It actually is easy. It actually is easy, but not everybody is coming from the same place with their thinking, and so one guy gets one solution here, another guy gets a solution over here, and they don't, It took a long time thinking about this after Alan Brickhouse showed me that I came up with what I came up with. And like I say, for me, it has worked perfectly for the last 25 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm still a firm believer that guys like Alan Brickhouse, Tom Dixon, Randy Smith, these guys have done all this and they've made it work, and we just need to listen. But sometimes we don't listen very well.
Right.
That's the deal.
One thing I got to say is I actually have incorporated this, John, in my Brodak P40. I had the tank set up just like you said, and I was able to adjust it. I saw that it was flying a little bit slower inverted, so I'm not sure if I raised it or not, but I turned the pickup. I had that bend in it, and it worked fantastic.
Got you right here, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah. My only problem
is
I have to be careful to not bump that because it's a profile, right? And handling the plane, I could easily move that Uniflow because just
tighten it up a little, tighten up the center screw a little bit more.
Real good. And the other thing you could do if you wanted to is when you get it set exactly where you want it, scuff it up a little and epoxy the whole damn front of it. It won't go anywhere. JB Weld, something like that.
I start first with a screwdriver and just tighten up that.
Yeah, tighten up that.
That little screw in the middle.
The little screw in the middle. Tighten it right up.
Screw in the middle. That just
you guys know the other solution, don't you?
What's that?
Electric motor and RC timer.
Nice.
Yeah, you know what? Bob Hunt Tryon, and who else can pile on? Yeah, I know. And even
Come on,
John.
Tom.
John is a part-time electric proponent.
Come on,
Well,
Tom. Give me a break.
I
I'm
believe
just thinking about making my Nobler electric.
I believe electric power is the wave of the future. But I like my stalkers and I like the way they run. And I've got some old McCoys. I like the way they run. I learned how to run those years ago. I've got a couple of OS 46s and a couple of 40 VFs and or 140 VF. And anyway, in other words, the thing is though, I believe that if possible, old time stunt should be flown with an old time stunt engine.
I agree 100%.
I
And
really, really, really hope that when I put that electric motor in a Nobler, I hope I hate it. Because I will miss the smell of caster like there's no tomorrow.
You'll like it. That's the problem. I also believe that if I'm going to fly classic events, I should have a classic engine in there.
Most definitely.
This would make sense to me.
Would you put a rocket engine in a
Model T.
classic car? Yeah, a Model T Ford.
You got Tom going.
let's power a Cessna like Tesla.
You know, Klotz sells this little can with a little flame. Has their scent, so you can get the scent of Klotz. It's not the same as Castor, but you can go out there with the electric flame and have a little thing there and have a flame going, and you can smell your Klotz synthetic while you're flying electric.
Actually, you
know
get
what,
a little
Charles?
vial and you can just go like that before you go out to fly.
The worst part about that, Charles, is I ran Klotz oil when I was racing dirt bikes.
Yeah.
And I can't stand the smell of it.
Oh, really? See, I run Klotz synthetic in my stalkers, so at first it was different than Castor, but now I like it. I like the Klotz synthetic smell. You know, it's different than the Castor, but I like them both.
You know, when I was racing dirt bikes, I ran gas and straight 921 Castor.
Whew. I like the idea.
Follow me, I'll make your eyes water.
I think we'll all be running either electric or stalkers pretty soon because you won't be able to get any nitro.
Well, nitro's still.
Yeah, well, thank God for stalker. I don't need nitro.
That's right.
The thing is that an OS 46 or 40 VF or LA, they'll all run on no nitro.
Oh, do they run okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
The VF will run great on no nitro.
The thing is you have a broader needle valve, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Hey, you're back, Carl.
But you don't have, you don't have that extra power that you get.
I'm gonna do some varnishing.
So.
All right. I'm going to try that too. I'm going to try running my OS LA46, which I've got set up beautifully for years now. I'm going to try a tank of no nitro and just see what it does for the heck of it.
You might have to play with the needle valve a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you feedback at the next meeting on how that went. I'll try it tomorrow.
Okay.
It works. It works. I've done it. I've ran LA45s and LA46s with no nitro. It works.
Okay, I'm gonna try it. That should be good.
But if you got an extra head gasket in there, take it out.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. I don't think I do. I think I just have the one.
Yeah, leave the one.
We'll see.
It will.
I think we're okay.
Warm.
I'm just gonna try it for a tank.
Yeah.
See what it does.
Now the Fox 35, the McCoy 35.
No.
They won't run.
5%.
Can't do that.
No.
You got to have 5% nitro and you got to have tons of caster.
30% oil.
But most of your engines that are made overseas in Europe and Asia will run on FAI fuel.
Okay.
Well,
What about the PAs and the road jets?
Well, where are they made?
America.
Most likely, you might be able to get a run, but I think you'll be down on power.
Okay. All right.
They're designed for nitro.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Hey guys, I'm gonna call tonight.
Yeah, let's call it tonight.
I think we are. I think I am too. I'm going to call it a night too.
Tonight.
Hey, thank you guys.
Thanks
Tom.
for that diagram, John. John gets all the credit for the Uniflow diagram. I just posted it up.
Awesome.
All right,
Hey,
good night.
guys.
All right, John.
Good night, guys.
Hey, Gary, wake up. We're leaving.
Gary's coming and he's not gonna see anybody.
Yeah. I'm going to say, where'd they go?
Night, Gary.
Hey, Carl, you got your questions answered, right, Carl?
Hey, Gary, wake up.
Yeah.
We're
Yep.
getting ready to leave.
Good night, Jeff.
Good night, all.
Good night, man.
Hey, good
Yeah.
night.
All right. Bye,
Look
guys.
forward to next week. I look forward to what
You
you got
bet.
to say, Len.
All
All
right.
right.
We'll
guys
see you
later.
guys Monday night.
Good night, guys.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Anybody else staying on here, or am I it? Gary's still
Yeah.
here.
Still here.
So what are you up to, man?
Oh, I had a water leak today, so I had to dig the front yard up and find the leak.
Oh no,
Oh,
that's always a chore.
yeah.
Yeah, I gotta. My yard is lifting out front.